have been resolved, and the narrative flow has been smoothed for consistency. The lighting in the intensive care unit of Chicago General Hospital was dim and suffocatingly quiet, save for the rhythmic beeping of the monitors. A middle-aged man, skin pale as parchment, lay on the bed, his breathing shallow behind an oxygen mask. A doctor and a lawyer walked in. "Mr. Ford," the doctor began, hesitating. "The last bone marrow transplant showed some promise, but the cancer cells have metastasized throughout your body. I am afraid." "How long do I have?" Ethan Ford asked, his expression calm, his voice raspy. "Maybe 10 days. Possibly a month," the doctor said, trying to offer a sliver of comfort. 10 days. Ethan chuckled self-deprecatingly. He knew the reality was likely worse. "Mr. Ford, your wife, Lucy Yates, has filed a motion with the court. She's demanding an additional $5 billion from your $8 billion estate. This is the letter from her legal team." The middle-aged lawyer handed a document to him. Lucy, his wife, his college sweetheart. They had been married for 7 years. The night he was diagnosed with terminal cancer, she had stayed up all night, not to comfort him, but to draft a will, forcing him to sign it. 7 years of marriage, and it took his deathbed for him to see her true colors. Money. It was all for money. The affection, the memories, all fake. Ethan looked at the aggressively worded legal letter, warning him not to dispose of his personal assets. His eyes grew misty. He laughed bitterly, tears slipping from the corners of his eyes. He had spent 10 years in the business world, fighting tooth and nail to build a fortune worth billions. Yet in the end, there wasn't a single person who truly loved him, nor anyone he truly loved. Lying in this empty hospital room, with no family or partner by his side. It was pathetic. Reality was just a fleeting dream, ending in nothingness. Attorney Zimmer, tell her not to bother counting the cash. Follow my will. Donate all my assets. Everything. To charity, to the underprivileged, to the state, Ethan said coldly. Understood, Mr. Ford. Oh, right. Mr. Ford, a woman asked me to give this to you yesterday. Attorney Zimmer pulled a cloth-wrapped package from his briefcase. It looked like a book. The doctor adjusted the bed, raising Ethan to a sitting position. Mr. Ford, we'll let you rest now. The doctor and Attorney Zimmer left the room. Silence reclaimed the space. Ethan unwrapped the cloth. Inside was a yellowed, weathered diary. He gently opened it and saw the familiar name, Grace Miller. March 11th, 1998. Cloudy. Ethan Ford, that jerk, actually dared to let the air out of my bike tires. I'm so mad. I'm going to draw a pile of poop on his backpack. May 10th, 2000. Light rain. Ethan, that blockhead, forgot his umbrella and got soaked like a drowned rat. It was hilarious. June 5th, 2000. Sunny. SAT prep is coming up, and he actually fell asleep in class. He got chewed out by his mom tonight. He definitely doesn't know I'm the one who snitched on him. Huh. July 1st, 2000. Cloudy. Ethan tried to secretly change his college application preferences. I had to give him a roundhouse kick to wake him up. We agreed to go to the same university, and he wants to back out. March 6th, 2002. Cloudy. Ethan, that stinky guy. He's dating someone. Whoever likes that idiot must be blind. April 4th, 2002. Ethan talks about his girlfriend constantly. It's so annoying. Arg. So annoying. Sad face. Kept me up all night. Am I in love with him? Ugh, this sucks. May 20th, 2005. Sunny. Today is his wedding day. He asked me to be a bridesmaid. I refused. I even made up an excuse to skip the wedding entirely. I wish him happiness for the rest of his life. January 11th, 2012. Cloudy. He told me over the phone. He has cancer. It's terminal. I feel like my world just collapsed. February 2nd, 2012. Light rain. He has no family left, no relatives for a marrow match. But miraculously, I'm a match. It's a 1 in 100,000 chance. Is this destiny? As long as it saves him, I'll accept any pain, any price. Even my life. But he'll never know. Just like he'll never know that I loved him. Ethan stopped reading, his heart trembling violently. Tears streamed down his face uncontrollably. The mysterious donor was her. Memories of Grace Miller flashed through his mind like a movie reel. Playing in the mud as kids, swimming in the creek, getting grounded together, climbing the neighbor's fence to steal bird eggs, and getting chased by their golden retriever. Walking to school together, walking home, hide and seek, video games. Day after day, year after year. They were childhood sweethearts, growing up side by side. She was the person who knew him best. But because they were so close, he had taken her for granted. Her presence had felt as natural and necessary as air. In this final moment, he finally understood. He had missed the right person. One misconnection, a lifetime of regret. Endless remorse surged in his heart. If God could give me just one more chance, I wouldn't miss her again. Cough, cough. The intense emotional fluctuation triggered a violent coughing fit. Blood spilled from his mouth, choking him. His consciousness began to blur. He seemed to see a light before him. A hazy, soft light. He felt his body losing sensation, slipping from his control. Is this it? Is my life over? Grace, I am sorry. I hope in the next life, I can be your childhood sweetheart again. A tear slid from the corner of his eye as he slowly closed them. Ethan, wake up. Get up. Wake up, dude. The Zodiac is coming. A crisp, melodious voice rang in his ear, sounding urgent. Ethan snapped his eyes open. He saw a classroom. Dozens of students. All familiar faces. Suddenly, a face appeared right in front of him. Fair skin, delicate features, full of life. Her long, dark hair was tied back in a high ponytail, full of spirit, and her large, watery eyes were staring right at him. Her face held the tenderness of youth, vibrant and energetic, like the first breath of spring. Grace! Grace Miller! Ethan's eyes went wide. He stared at her in disbelief. What's happening? Wasn't I in the ICU? Didn't I die? Why are you staring at me? Get up, hurry. Mister Zane is almost here. You want attention again? Grace glared at him. Is this a dream? Ethan's eyes turned red, but a laugh escaped his lips. He shot up from his seat and pulled her into a tight embrace. Even if it's a dream, this is enough. Grace, it's so good to see you. Ethan grabbed her shoulders, tears welling in his smiling eyes. Huh? What are you babbling about? What are you doing? Grace looked at him, completely bewildered. Ethan's bare hug drew the attention of the entire class. I won't miss you again. Ethan laughed, holding her shoulders firmly. Huh? Suddenly, he leaned in and kissed her. In that instant, the entire class gasped. Everyone was stunned. Grace's eyes went wide as saucers, and she froze like a statue. Silence. The entire classroom went dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Jaws dropped. Eyes popped. Unbelievable. The school beauty, Grace Miller, was just forcibly kissed by Ethan Ford. Oh my God. Is he crazy? Ethan felt the warmth on his lips and paused. Huh. You can feel things in dreams. He licked his lips. Holy crap, it's actually sweet. You can taste things in dreams? Ethan pulled back, looking at Grace, whose face was turning as red as an apple. He looked shocked. This isn't a dream. Ethan Ford. Grace's face was burning. She shoved him away in shame and anger, then immediately executed a textbook judo shoulder throw. Bam. Ethan slammed onto the floor. The sharp pain in his back woke him up completely. He looked at the classroom ceiling, then at the shocked expressions of his classmates, and finally at the date written on the chalkboard at the back of the room. April 12th, 2000. He finally reached a conclusion. I'm reborn. I'm back in the year 2000. The turn of the millennium. He remembered clearly. This year, Grace was 18. This year, they were seniors just 69 days away from the SATs and graduation. Ethan lifted his hands, looking at his pale, slightly scrawny arms, and smiled. I really did it. I'm back. Since God gave him another chance, he would live this life to the fullest. No regrets. And he absolutely wouldn't miss his chance with Grace Miller again. Ethan, did your brain short circuit? Grace appeared in his field of vision, her face flushed, glaring down at him. Hi there, Grace. Ethan grinned. Grace paused. What are you talking about? She crouched down, grabbed Ethan's arm, and twisted it in a joint lock. Talk. Why did you take advantage of me just now? Ow, ow, ow. Let go first. You talk first. Everyone's watching. Have you no shame? Let go. Grace glanced around. Indeed, the whole class was staring at them. The looks on their faces were beyond weird. Uncomfortable under the scrutiny, she released Ethan. If there weren't so many people watching, I'd dismantle you. Ethan stood up, sucking in a breath of cold air and rubbing his wrist. Grace still had those violent tendencies. She was exactly the childhood friend he remembered. Well, why did you kiss me? Grace wiped her mouth violently, almost scrubbing the skin off. Ethan had 1,000 things he wanted to tell her, but seeing her angry face, the words stuck in his throat. If he confessed right now, would she even want to be friends anymore? They were always joking around, but once romantic feelings got involved, the relationship could become fragile. In his memories, growing up, even in high school, he hadn't really seen her as a girl. And Grace hadn't seemed to see him as a guy. He didn't know what Grace was thinking right now. If the dynamic shifted too suddenly, it might backfire. Ethan decided he couldn't rush this. He needed to figure out where her head was at. I was dreaming. I dreamt you fell into a puddle, so I got excited and tried to give you CPR. Ethan made up a flimsy excuse. Grace. She pinched the soft flesh at his waist. You're the one who fell in a puddle. Ethan yelped. Don't worry, in the dream. I fished you out. Grace glared and was about to strangle him when the homeroom teacher, Mr. Zane, strode into the classroom. Class is in session. Mr. Zane taught math. He was old school, strict, and terrifying. The students called him the Zodiac behind his back because your fate was sealed in his class. The students stopped whispering about Ethan and Grace instantly. Grace shot Ethan one last glare and hurried to her seat. Ethan sat behind her. Ethan, my man, that was legendary. You actually kissed the queen bee. His desk mate, Wayne Tank Turner, leaned over, grinning like an idiot, whispering in awe. Ethan looked at Tank's round, honest face, and smirked. You doubting my guts? Tank scratched his head, giggling. I wish I had half your guts, man. Tank was Ethan's best buddy, his ride or die since forever. They were inseparable. Ethan, kissing Grace is a historic event. The whole school is going to know by lunch. Tank said excitedly. Ethan suddenly realized, crap, does this mean I'm now public enemy number one for every guy in school? Grace Miller was the undisputed beauty of Oak Creek High. She had countless secret admirers, but because of her icy, domineering personality, she never gave anyone a chance. Still, the admirers were persistent. Her desk was constantly filled with love letters, roses, and chocolates. One of the perks of being her friend back then was that Ethan never ran out of snacks. Thinking about becoming the target of every jealous guy in school made his teeth ache. But hey, he was a guy who had died and come back. What was there to be afraid of? He had lived decades. Dealing with high school punks would be a breeze. Tank, if anyone tries to give you a challenge letter or whatever to pass to me, just trash it. Don't even show me, Ethan instructed. Huh, what challenge letter? Tank asked, his processing speed a bit slow. Ethan, Tank was a good guy, just a bit dense. Don't worry about it. Just do what I say. Ethan waved his hand. His gaze fell on Grace's back in front of him. Through her white blouse, he could see the faint outline of a pink strap. He remembered back in middle school, being curious about how girls' bras worked. Sometimes he couldn't resist pulling the strap on Grace's back. One time, the quality was so cheap, he actually snapped it. She had chased him with a broom for 3 days. Thinking of those embarrassing memories, a goofy smile appeared on Ethan's face. Ethan, what's funny? Tank asked, seeing him grinning at nothing. Ethan chuckled and whispered, Tank, be honest. Do Grace and I make a good couple? Good? Absolutely. You're handsome, dashing, heroic, domineering. Lecherous. Stop. If you can't use big words correctly, don't use them. Tank scratched his head. Honestly, I think you guys fit perfectly. Look, in the whole school, how many guys can even talk to Grace without stuttering? Besides you, nobody. I see you guys chatting all the time. Total couple goals. Ethan patted Tank's shoulder, satisfied. You're all right, Tank. Remember, from now on, Grace is your sister-in-law. He got it. Go get her, Ethan. Maybe teach me some moves so I can ask out Sarah? Tank nodded eagerly. Sarah was the class beauty Tank had a crush on. The hormones of youth. No problem. You're my brother. I got you. Ethan promised. Suddenly, a piece of chalk flew through the air, hitting Ethan square in the forehead. Ethan Ford. I'm teaching, and you're chatting? Stand up, mister. Zane glared from the podium. What's up, Teach? Ethan wiped the chalk dust off his forehead. Mister. Zane pointed to the math problem on the blackboard. Come solve this. If the complex number z equals x superscript 2 plus 2x, 3, plus x plus 3, I is a pure imaginary number. What is the value of the real number x? The class turned to look at him. Many snickered. Everyone knew Ethan was decent at English and history, but his math scores were usually at the bottom of the barrel. They were waiting for the show. Thump, thump. Just as Ethan was about to answer, he heard a noise from the leg of his desk. Grace was kicking it. Look here, she whispered. She was writing the solution on her notebook, angling it so he could see. Ethan could tell she was trying to bail him out. This girl actually cares about me. But a simple problem like this? It was child's play. Ethan's math really had been terrible before the original SATs. But to get into the University of Illinois originally, he had crammed like a maniac for the last month and barely scraped by. Later, he switched to computer science, a field heavy in advanced mathematics. Calculus, algorithms, C++, he mastered them all. Ethan didn't consider himself a genius, but he was a top graduate from a major university with decades of experience. This high school algebra couldn't touch him. Why the silence? Cat got your tongue? You were talking happily enough a minute ago, mister. Zane scolded. Ethan smiled slightly, walked up to the podium, picked up a piece of chalk, and began writing rapidly. Solution. Since complex number z equals x superscript 2 plus 2x, 3 plus x plus 3, I is a pure imaginary number. Therefore, the real part x superscript 2 plus 2x, 3 is equal to 0, and the imaginary part 10 plus 3 is not equal to 0. Solving for x, we get x equals 1. Teacher, the answer is 1, Ethan said with a smile. The classroom was dead silent. The students stared at him in shock. Even Grace's jaw nearly hit her desk. When did Ethan get good at math? Mister. Zane was bewildered. He didn't expect Ethan to solve it. Did he study ahead? Well, yes. That is correct. You can sit down. Pay attention next time. Mister. Zane waved him away. Ethan grinned. Yes, sir. He sat back down, muttering to himself. Seems the stuff I learned in my past life is still useful. With his current knowledge, crushing the curriculum would be easy. If he took the SATs again, maybe he could aim for valedictorian, or at least top 100 in the state. Thinking about the exams in 2 months, Ethan actually felt excited. Dude, you're a legend. I thought you were going to crash and burn. Tank gave a thumbs up. Piece of cake. Ethan adjusted his collar. Just then, a small folded paper landed on his desk. It was for Grace. He opened it. You owe me one. Sad face, there was a cute, angry doodle next to it. Little brat. She thinks she helped. That was all my skill. Ethan ripped a piece of paper from his notebook, scribbled a reply, and tossed it back. Grace saw the note, opened it, and her face flushed red. She turned around and glared at him. Tank whispered, Ethan, what did you write? Why is she blushing? Nothing much. Ethan leaned back, relaxed. On the other side, Grace's desk mate, Chloe, noticed the blush too. Grace, what did Ethan say? Nothing. He's just a jerk. I'm going to kill him after school. Grace tried to hide her embarrassment. Under the desk, she looked at the note again. In addition to owing you one, I also owe you a kiss. You can collect it anytime. I'll be waiting. Jerk. Taking advantage of me. I'll fix you. Grace tore the paper into shreds, grinding her teeth. If I don't teach you a lesson, my name isn't Grace Miller. But deep down, she felt strange. Ethan was acting different today. Time flew. The final bell rang. Grace packed her bag quickly and left the classroom early. Ethan thought she might be shy about seeing him. Did my flirting backfire? I need to tone it down. Too aggressive might scare her off. Tank, let's bounce. Heading home. Ethan called out. Coming, Ethan. Tank grabbed his books. They all lived in the same housing complex for the workers of the Tri-State Steel Mill. Ethan's dad was a welder at the mill. His mom sold vegetables at a street stall. Grace's dad was a vice president at the plant, and her mom was a clerk there. Tank lived with just his mom, who worked in logistics. His dad was a drunk who caused trouble. They were divorced, but the dad still came around for money. Ethan remembered the fights in the neighborhood. After graduation, Tank's mom moved them away to escape him, and Ethan and Tank lost touch. A great friendship lost to circumstance. Not in this life. They walked to the bike racks near the football field. The racks were filled with rusty Schwinn's and Huffies. Ethan's bike was an old, heavy roadster his dad bought for $50 for his 16th birthday. Ethan went to unlock his bike, but stopped. The rear tire was completely flat. What the hell? Who slashed my tire? Ethan cursed. Do I have rivals already? Oh my, Ethan. Is your bike out of air? What a shame. Looks like you're walking. Grace rode by on her bike, feigning surprise. From her tone, Ethan knew immediately. She was the culprit. Ethan, you can ride on my pegs? Tank offered. No need. Ethan chuckled. He ran after Grace and jumped onto the back of her bike, sitting sideways on the cargo rack. All right, drive on, Grace. Grace glared back. Why are you sitting on my bike? Get off. Nope. You gonna bite me? Ethan said shamelessly. Grace bared her teeth. Try me. She grabbed his arm and actually tried to bite him. Ethan pushed her chin up with one hand and grabbed her waist with the other. She couldn't reach him. Are you a puppy? Actually biting? Good thing I have reflexes. Ethan laughed. Let go. I'm gonna bite you to death. Grace flailed. They wrestled playfully by the bike racks, drawing looks. Hey, isn't that Grace Miller? Whoa, she's getting physical with a guy. Is that flirting? Hearing the whispers, Grace panicked. Let go. Promise not to bite, and give me a ride home. Then I'll let go. You slashed my tire, didn't you? Ethan grinned. Fine. Let go. Grace nodded helplessly. Ethan released her. Grace immediately tried to stomp on his foot. Ethan pulled his leg back just in time. Miss me. Grace was fuming and wanted to start round 2. We going or not? People are watching. I don't care, I have thick skin. Ethan shrugged. Grace looked around. Being stared at was embarrassing. She was totally outmatched by Ethan today. It was infuriating. "Oomph. Just wait till we get home," she muttered. She started pedaling, carrying Ethan away. "Hey, wait for me." Tank pedaled furiously to catch up. Ethan sat on the rear rack, his left hand resting lightly on her waist. The cool spring breeze brushed against his face, carrying the scent of fresh-cut grass. This was the spring of 2000. He took a deep breath and realized the air also carried the scent of Grace's shampoo. "Grace, what shampoo do you use?" Ethan asked. "Herbal essences." "Why? Smells good." "Oomph. If you want to use it, just ask. Just bring it back." "Really? Oh, please. Since when were you polite with me?" Ethan thought back. She was right. He had never been polite. The Ford and Miller families were close. Their moms were best friends. He practically grew up in her house. "Grace, your birthday is in 2 weeks, right?" "Yeah. Did you get a gift ready?" "Nope." "Grace." "Then why ask?" "Just checking." "So what are you getting me?" "Hee, something you'll definitely like." "I doubt it. We grew up together. You think I don't know what you like? You underestimate me." "Okay, tell me. What do I like?" Airplanes." "What? Why would I like airplanes?" "Because you have a runway right there." He gestured to her chest. "Huh?" "Ethan Ford, I need you to leave this area immediately at maximum velocity." "What? Get lost." Grace slammed on the brakes, trying to buck him off. But Ethan locked his hands around her waist, anchoring himself to her. He had to admit, Grace had a tiny waist, and it felt nice. "Oomph. Make me mad again, and I'll dump you in a ditch," Grace huffed, ignoring the hands on her waist. She seemed used to it. Okay, calm down. I'll treat you to a popsicle." Ethan offered peace. "1 popsicle to forgive you." 2. "Deal." 10 minutes later, Grace stopped at Mrs. Gable's corner store at the entrance of the Mill Row housing complex. "Mrs. Gable, 2 Rocket Pops." Grace yelled into the shop. Ethan looked back. Tank had caught up. "Mrs. Gable, make it 4. My treat." A middle-aged woman in a floral shirt walked out. "Grace, Ethan. School's out." "Yeah." Grace smiled sweetly. Mrs. Gable handed over 4 popsicles. Grace took 2 for herself and handed the others to Ethan. 2. "You're gonna get a brain freeze," Ethan teased. Grace guarded her loot. "None of your business. Don't touch mine." "Ethan." Tank skidded to a stop. "Tank, perfect timing. Here's 1 for you." "On me," Ethan said grandly. Tank looked at the ice cream, drooling. "Thanks, Ethan. We're brothers. Don't mention it." Ethan patted his back. The 3 of them stood in front of the store, eating ice cream. Ethan watched Grace. She was devouring hers with a look of pure bliss. Slow down," Ethan chuckled. "I like it fast. You got a problem." Grace bared her teeth. Ethan just shook his head. She finished both popsicles in record time and then stared longingly at the half-eaten one in Ethan's hand. "Why are you looking at me?" Ethan rolled his eyes. "Let me have a bite. Just 1 bite." Grace licked her lips, looking like a hungry cat. "You can't have too much sugar," Ethan warned. "It's fine, just a tiny bite. What are you afraid of?" Grace argued. "Gulf, Fine. 1 bite. Don't take a huge chunk." Ethan held it out. Grace immediately chomped down, taking nearly the entire remaining piece, leaving just a sliver on the stick. "There, all yours." Grace grinned triumphantly, handed the stick back, hopped on her bike, and fled. Ethan stared at the empty stick. "Grace Miller, get back here." He tossed the stick and sprinted after her. Tank stood there, bewildered, holding his popsicle. A moment later, he realized, Hey, Ethan, you didn't pay." Ethan chased her into the complex courtyard. She had parked her bike and was running for the stairs. He cut her off, blocking her path. "Eat my ice cream and try to run." Ethan smiled devilishly. "What are you going to do?" Grace tilted her chin up, not scared at all. Ethan laughed softly and stepped closer. They were inches apart, face to face. Grace's heart suddenly started pounding. She instinctively stepped back. But as she stepped back, Ethan stepped forward. Soon her back hit the wall. What do you want?" Grace showed her teeth, but her eyes were panicking. Ethan slammed his hand against the wall next to her head, boxing her in. Grace's breathing hitched. Her heart was hammering. The way Ethan was looking at her, it was different, intense. It made her nervous. What is wrong with him today? Why is he acting so weird? "So, how are you going to compensate me?" Ethan narrowed his eyes. Keep dreaming. You took advantage of me today. I haven't even settled that score." Grace pouted stubbornly. Ethan looked at her pale skin, her beautiful face, her pink lips. He felt a bit dazed. Grace really was the school beauty. She was gorgeous. Why didn't I realize she was this pretty in my past life? Was I just too used to her? "Ethan, your mom is here." Grace's eyes went wide. Huh, trying to trick me with that old move? I'm not falling for it. Ethan shook his head. Suddenly, a hand grabbed his ear. Believe it now. A familiar voice rang out from behind him. Ethan turned his head and saw a face he hadn't seen in years, yet knew by heart. His mother, Mary Ford. He froze. Mom! Ethan was overwhelmed. He grabbed his mother in a hug. In his past life, his mother had died of cancer just before he graduated college. His father died shortly after, drowning in a lake while drunk with grief. Losing both parents had destroyed him. He had buried himself in work to escape the pain. Seeing her now, alive and healthy, he couldn't stay calm. She had worked herself to death. They had been poor, spending everything on his education. She had ignored her illness until it was too late. Not this time. I won't let tragedy strike again. Mary was stunned. Then she grabbed his ear again. What is wrong with you? Did you get in trouble again? I told you. I can't cover for you anymore. Ow, ow. Mom, I didn't. I really didn't. Ethan laughed through the pain. Being scolded by his mom felt amazing. Really? Mary let go. Really? Asked Grace. Ethan rubbed his ear. To his shock, Grace put on a pitiful face. Mrs. Ford. He wasn't bullying me. Ethan. Mary grabbed his ear again instantly. So, you were bullying Grace. Grace, honey, don't worry. I'll deal with him. Grace flashed a bright smile. Okay, I'm gonna go then, Mrs. Ford. Bye, Mrs. Ford. Grace sprinted up the stairs, giggling. Ethan couldn't believe Grace had set him up at the last second. It took a solid 5 minutes of pleading to convince his mom he hadn't actually been terrorizing the neighbor's daughter. Back inside, Mary went to the kitchen to cook. Ethan stood in the living room. The apartment was small, company housing from a steel mill. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, maybe 800 square feet. Looking around, nothing was new. The wooden table and chairs were covered in scratches and his dad's patch jobs. The fabric sofa was a hand-me-down from Grace's family, covered with a sheet his mom had sewn herself to protect the fancy furniture. In the center of the room sat a Hitachi 21-inch tube TV. Boxy, heavy, bought secondhand $4.200. That was a fortune for them back then. It was the only appliance they owned. The walls were bare except for his parents' wedding photo and his school achievement certificates. It was humble. Poor. Ethan knew they struggled. In this life, he wanted his parents to live comfortably. No more scraping for pennies. He clenched his fists, nails digging into his palms. He took a deep breath. Mom, Dad, no regrets this time. I will protect you. I will build a life for us with my own hands. Ethan turned on the TV. The screen flickered with static and snow. Unwatchable. Needs fixing. He ran to his parents' room and grabbed the toolbox. Half an hour later, Mary called out from the kitchen. Ethan, what are you doing? Why is it so quiet? No answer. Curious. She wiped her hands on her apron and walked out. W, what are you doing? Mary stared at the living room floor. The TV was dismantled. Shell here, tubes there. Mom, fixing the TV, Ethan said without looking up. He was a top-tier computer science grad. Fixing a motherboard or designing a circuit was his trade. An old CRT TV? Child's play. What? Fixing it? Oh my God, don't break it further. If your dad finds out, he's gonna tan your hide. Mary rushed over. You're a high school student. What do you know about electronics? Put it back. Hurry. He'll be home any minute. Mom, done. Ethan grinned, wiping grease on his pants. Done my foot. Put it back together. Mary scolded. Okay. Ethan reassembled the casing and lifted the heavy box back onto the stand. He pressed the power button. Hum. The screen flickered, then stabilized. A clear, colorful picture appeared. Mary's jaw dropped. Lord have mercy. Son, you actually fixed it? It had been broken for months. Repairs cost money they didn't have. She never expected her son to fix it. Ethan dusted his hands. Yeah, resistor blew on the main board. I bypassed it with a wire. Good as new. Resistor? What? Mary was lost. Doesn't matter. It works. If it didn't, Dad would have killed me. Ethan laughed. Mary beamed. You saved us a pretty penny. Just then, heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway, followed by the key in the lock. Honey, Ethan, I'm home. A tired, gravelly voice called out. The door opened. Frank Ford stood there in his blue factory coveralls, stained dark with grease and soot. His hair was a mess, like a bird's nest. Dad, you're back. Ethan greeted him happily. His father was a man of few words. A good man. He worked himself to the bone without complaint. He was only in his early 40s, but his temples were gray and deep wrinkles carved his face. He looked 50. Frank saw his son and managed a tired smile. Yeah, late shift. Had a rush order. Mary, is dinner ready? I am starving. Almost. Just frying the veggies. Go wash up. Look at your hands. They're black as coal. Mary laughed. All right. Frank chuckled, dropping his canvas bag and heading to the bathroom. When he came out, drying his hands, he noticed the TV was on, playing the news. Huh, the TV is working? I thought the tube was shot. Did you take it to the shop, Mary? He asked. Mary set down a plate of green beans. Nope, your son fixed it. What? Ethan fixed it? Frank looked at Ethan, stunned. Ethan scratched his head. Yeah, read about it in a magazine. Figured I'd give it a shot. Huh, that's my boy. A genius. You're gonna go further than me. That's for sure. Frank clapped his hands excitedly. Parents always seem to find immense joy in their children's smallest achievements. Just luck, Ethan said humbly. Frank walked over and squeezed Ethan's shoulder. Son, study hard. Go to college. Don't end up uneducated like me. In this world, you gotta have that degree to get ahead. Ethan nodded solemnly. I know, Dad. Mary brought out the second dish. Pan-fried Brussels sprouts with pork slices. Dinner's ready. The three sat around the small table. A pot of porridge, 2 dishes. The green beans were clearly the tough, unsold stems from Mary's stall. The pork dish had maybe 15 thin slices of meat, about 3 ounces for 3 people. Ethan looked at the food. He hadn't realized how poor they were back then. He remembered eating meat every day. Now he realized his parents gave it all to him. Eat, son. Why are you staring? Have some meat. You look skinny. Mary put 2 slices in his bowl. Frank took a sip of cheap liquor and pushed the meat toward Ethan, eating only the sprouts. Sprouts are crisp today. Good job, honey, Frank praised. Ethan watched them, eyes burning. The love was overwhelming, and the poverty was heartbreaking. Mom, Dad, I swear, I will give you a better life. I swear it. After dinner, Ethan went to his room to start his homework. He pulled open his curtains and yelled across the alleyway. Grace! Grace Miller! The curtains opposite him parted. Grace appeared. Their apartments mirrored each other across a narrow gap, maybe 8 feet. What do you want? Grace asked, arms crossed. Nothing. Just wanted to see if you were full. I ate ages ago. If that's it, I'm doing homework. Grace turned back to her desk, but she didn't close the curtains. Ethan sat down. From his angle, he could see her profile. She was writing something. Grace was indeed writing, but not homework. Her diary. April 12th, 2000. Ethan actually dared to kiss me. In front of everyone. I could die, but after school I slashed his tire. Ha ha ha. As she wrote, a smile crept onto her lips. The image of the kiss kept popping into her head. It had been playing on a loop all afternoon. Was he doing it on purpose? Why did he kiss me, and the way he looks at me? It's weird. Grace rested her chin on his hands, staring at the wall, swinging her legs under the chair. Does Ethan like me? She shook her head. Puffed. No way. He just likes bullying me. Jerk. Total jerk. Achoo. Ethan sneezed. Who's talking trash about me? He looked across. Grace, are you cursing me? How did you know? Grace turned around. Ethan knew it. Since they were alone, time to probe. Ethan pulled his chair to the window and waved. Grace, come here. What? Sit closer. Let's talk. Grace looked suspicious, but moved her chair to the window. Talk about what? Ethan leaned on the sill. I am curious. High school is almost over. Is there really no guy you like? Nope, Grace huffed. So what's your type? Dunno. Haven't thought about it. Someone handsome, I guess. Handsome? So, me? Ethan, your ego is bulletproof, isn't it? Be honest. Is your standard based on me? Grace blushed. No, definitely not. She had wondered about this. Whenever she imagined a boyfriend, no matter what celebrity face she pasted on him, Ethan just seemed better. Did I grow up around him so much that my taste is ruined? It was distressing. You really have no imagination? Ethan asked. No, I just want to get into college. Dating doesn't give you extra credit on the SATs, Grace said seriously. Ethan sighed. Grace's attitude was clear. She had no attitude. Winning her over is going to be a long game. Wait, when did she start liking me in the past life? It was a mystery. A woman's heart is a needle in the ocean, and Grace's heart was in the Mariana Trench. Ethan, you call me over just to ask that? My turn. What's your type? Grace leaned forward. My future girlfriend? 5 feet 5 inches, 110 pounds, size 6 shoe. Loves high ponytails. Pale skin. Beautiful. That's it. Ethan grinned. Grace rolled her eyes. Wow, picky much? You're going to be single forever. Picky? I don't think so. Oh, I have one more thing. Typo blood like me. Typo. Grace paused. Wait, that's my blood type. Wait. Height, weight, shoes. Those are my stats. Ethan Ford. You're making fun of me again. She finally realized he was describing her. Hey, who knows? Maybe someone exactly like that likes me. Ethan brushed his bangs back. Oomph. Only an idiot would like you. I think you're pretty much an idiot. Should we make it work? Get lost. Grace yanked her curtains shut, ending the conversation. She moved her chair back to her desk, chin in hands, staring into space. Grace Miller, stop thinking about this nonsense. Homework. She shook her head, grabbed her pen, and tried to focus. But her mind was loud. Break time. She slammed the pen down, jumped on her bed, and pulled the quilt over her head, kicking her legs in the air. After a moment, she stopped and lay still, staring at the ceiling. A memory surfaced. They were 6 years old. Ethan was sitting on the floor, snot running down his nose, playing with blocks. Ethan, want candy? It's wedding candy. Little Grace ran in, opening her hand to reveal a red-wrapped chocolate. Ethan's eyes lit up. He wiped his nose on his sleeve. Grace, I want it. I want it. Grace sat down and put the candy in his hand. Mommy says only people getting married eat wedding candy. So promise you'll marry me. Okay, I'll marry you. The next morning, dawn was just breaking. Thump, thump. Ethan, you lazy pig. Wake up. Ethan woke to the noise. Groggily, he opened his eyes. Yellowed quilt, peeling paint, scuffed wardrobe, and an Eminem poster on the wall. Phew, nothing changed. Still 2000. He had a dream last night that he and Grace got married, only to wake up and find he was back in a hospital bed. Then he woke up again here. A dream within a dream. He walked to the window. Grace was poking his window with a long broom handle. Ethan, why are you sleeping in? Seeing him up, she retracted the broom and started brushing her hair. In the morning light, Grace wore a loose blue track jacket, the school spirit wear. Her delicate features looked three-dimensional in the sun. She was beautiful. Ethan propped his chin on his hands, leaning on the sill, grinning like a fool. What are you smiling at? Go change. I don't want to be late because of you. Grace mumbled around a hair tie. She gathered her hair into a ponytail with practiced ease. Okay, give me a sec. Ethan grinned and pulled off his shirt. Hey, Grace, aren't you going to look away? Ethan teased. Grace glanced at him, unimpressed. I know exactly how many hairs you have on your chest. What is there to hide? Hurry up. She slammed her window shut. Ethan laughed, dressed in record speed, brushed his teeth, washed his face, and grabbed his bag. Some breakfast. Mary called. No thanks, Mom. I'll grab something on the way. Ethan yelled, running out. He ran to the door across the hall, just as it opened. A well-dressed couple appeared. Grace's parents, George and Lily Miller. Mr. Miller, Mrs. Miller. Morning. Ethan grinned. Ethan's here. Grace will be right out. Lily patted his head kindly. Grace, hurry up. Ethan is waiting. Coming. Grace appeared with a slice of toast in her mouth, shoving her feet into her shoes. Bye, Mom, bye, Dad. Ride safe. George called out. Okay, bye. Grace grabbed Ethan's hand and dragged him downstairs. Ethan felt her hand, soft and warm, just like in his memories. Every day, together to school, together home. Downstairs, Grace let go. Ethan, go get your bike. I'll wait. Bike? You slashed my tire yesterday. Remember? Ethan spread his hands. Grace froze. She slapped her forehead. Oh, right. I totally forgot. She covered her mouth, realizing she admitted it. Caught you. Ethan feigned outrage. He sat on her rear rack. Until it's fixed, you're my chauffeur. Grace. You made me mad. I'm not driving you. She pouted. Ethan hopped off. Fine. I'll drive you. That's better. Grace nodded. Ethan got on the saddle. Grace gathered her skirt. She wore the skirt uniform today, and sat side saddle on the back, holding his shirt. Ready to go. You better hold my waist. It's safer. No way. Ethan rolled his eyes, pushed off, and pedaled hard. Suddenly, he accelerated. Grace yelped, her head bumping his back. Then, Ethan slammed the brakes. Inertia threw Grace forward, plastering her against his back. Why did you brake? Bump in the road. Told you to hold on. Ethan lied smoothly. Grace rolled her eyes but wrapped her arms around his waist, holding tight. Fine. Just go. Ethan felt the warmth on his back. His heart did a little dance. He grinned. All right, Miss Miller. We have liftoff. Ethan rode the Pink Lady's bike, carrying the school beauty, drawing stairs all the way. Grace, is one slice of toast enough? What do you think? Let's get breakfast burritos. Deal. They stopped at a diner near a frantic intersection. It was their spot. Joe, 2 breakfast skillets. Ethan yelled into the kitchen. Coming right up. An older man with graying hair poked his head out. The usual? 1 extra bacon, 1 extra sausage. You know it. Ethan laughed. The food came quickly. Ethan paid $6. A splurge. Grace tried to hand him $3. Keep it. My treat. Ethan pushed her hand away. Huh? Are you sick? Grace looked at him with genuine concern. You usually fight me for every penny. Why so generous? Ethan shrugged. People change. He sat down and started picking the sausage out of his skillet. Grace looked at him suspiciously but started picking the bacon out of hers and putting it in his bowl. One liked sausage, one liked bacon. The swap was a years-long ritual. Grace started eating, stealing glances at Ethan. He was different, but she couldn't put her finger on it. Grace, you have dark circles, Ethan noted. Edo. Grace rubbed her eyes. She hadn't slept well. Up all night thinking about me? Grace turned red. Keep dreaming. Only an idiot thinks about you. I was just worried about homework. Ethan looked serious. Don't talk about yourself like that. Grace. Jerk, you're the idiot. My IQ is 115. Really? Let me test you. Go ahead. 2 times 4. 8. Good girl. Grace. You tricked me. Grace bared her teeth and reached out to pinch him. Ethan caught her hands, laughing. Not bad, pretty smart. Calm down, people are watching. Bad image. You can do whatever you want of me when we get home. Grace. Jerk. Just wait. She hated making a scene. Revenge would be served cold. Hurry up and eat. Don't want to be late. Ethan smirked. They finished quickly and biked to school. Ding, ding, ding. Coming through, Ethan rang the bell aggressively. Hey, isn't that Grace? Whoa, who's the guy driving her? No way. Is Grace dating? My heart is broken. No, my goddess. Ethan bathed in the sounds of shattering male egos. Feels good. Grace, however, was mortified. Why are you making so much noise? Sure. Safety first. They arrived at the racks. Tank was just parking. Morning, Tank. Morning, Ethan. About that ice cream yesterday. Hey, don't mention it. Money hurts relationships. We're brothers, right? For sure. Ethan is my brother forever. Good man. I knew I could count on you. Hey, I'm parched. Is that your yoo-hoo? Yeah, Ethan. Want a sip? Don't mind if I do. Ethan grabbed the bottle and chugged a massive gulp. Biking was hard work. Ethan handed the bottle back. Not bad. Refreshing. I'll head up first. Okay. Tank stood there, watching Ethan walk away. He shook the bottle. Empty. My yoo-hoo. Grace covered her mouth, giggling. Ethan is so bad. She ran to catch up. With the SATs looming, classes were mostly self-study and mock exams. Ethan breezed through the English and history tests. Math was a joke now, but physics and chemistry? He'd forgotten a lot. He needed to review. Last period was study hall. Ethan dug through his pockets. A few crumbled dollar bills. He had $8 total. Not enough for Grace's birthday gift. Grace acted tough, but she loved cute things. She wanted this giant teddy bear in the mall window. It was person-sized, but it cost over $100. In 2000, for a high school kid, $100 was a fortune. Ethan, you've counted that money 10 times. It's not going to multiply, Tank whispered. Tank, you want to make money? Heck yeah, but my mom says focus on school. No jobs, Tank sighed. Come with me after school. We got work to do. Ethan patted his shoulder. Okay. School let out. Ethan and Tank bolted. Ethan, where are you going? Grace called out. Hanging with Tank. Go home without me. Don't miss me too much. Ethan waved without looking back. Grace stomped her foot. Jerk. I'll walk. Tank biked Ethan to the commercial district near the school. Here, Tank. Computer stores. Ethan pointed. Ethan had a plan. He knew the future, but he needed startup capital. In his past life, he made his first pot of gold developing a game later bought by a giant tech firm. But he couldn't do that yet. Hardware was limited. He needed quick cash. He was a computer science pro. Repairing hardware was the answer. Whoa, Ethan, look. Computers. Man, I want one so bad. How much are they? Tank drooled over a display window. Read the sign, Ethan said. Tank looked. The prices were astronomical. $1,899? $2,100. Holy crap. That's just a basic setup, Ethan noted. Pentium 3, 500 megahertz. 64 megabytes RAM. 3 gigabytes hard drive. Windows 98. Garbage by modern standards. But top tier in 2000. And priced like a used car. Most families made $2,000 a month. This was a luxury item. Sir, can't you fix it here? I need it. I can't play Diablo without it. Kid, I told you, I'm a retailer. I have to send it back to the factory. I can't fix boards. How long? 20 days. Maybe a month. What? No way. You have to fix it in 3 days, or I'm reporting you. Hey, don't be unreasonable. Loud arguing from inside the shop caught their attention. Ethan peeked in. A rich-looking student in a varsity jacket was shouting at the owner. I can't help you, kid. Take it home. I bought it here. Fix it. The student, Jason York, was furious. The owner, a chubby man named Sal, was sweating. Maybe. I can try. A voice came from the doorway. Sal, and Jason turned. Ethan stood there, wearing his school jacket, smiling confidently. You? You can fix computers. Sal looked Ethan up and down, skeptical. A high school kid? Please. Boss, I studied this. Can't hurt to let me look, Ethan said calmly. Jason asked, for real? You can fix it. I'll know once I see it. Jason saw the confidence in Ethan's eyes. He hesitated. He didn't want to wait a month. Fina, take a look. Jason decided. Sal's eyes bugged out. Hey, if he breaks it, that's on you. Jason glared. It's my computer. If he breaks it, I'll buy another one. Sal, shut up. Fine. But no warranty if he messes it up. Tank whispered. Ethan, do you actually know how? Did I say I didn't? Ethan smirked. Ethan walked over. He turned it on. System load. Blue screen of death. Classic. It loaded the OS but crashed before the desktop. Graphics card issue. Well, Jason asked anxiously. Sal shook his head. Hardware failure. Has to go back to the factory. Don't bother, kid. Ethan smiled. Not a big deal. No need to ship it. I know the problem. What? Really? Jason lit up. Ethan pointed to the tower. Graphics card. Let me open it. Boss, screwdriver. Sal handed him a toolkit, confused. Ethan opened the case. He pulled out the card. A LEDTech S320. High-end. $250 card. He examined it. Smiled. Just as I thought. What is it? Jason peered in. Ethan pointed with a screwdriver. See these pins? Pin 1 and 2. They're loose. Not making contact. Jason squinted. Whoa, you're right. Sal was dumbfounded. This kid actually knew his stuff? Bro, can you fix it? Jason asked. Ethan paused for dramatic effect. I can, but it's delicate work. Takes time. Translation. Pay me. If you fix it, I'll give you $100. Jason shouted. Deal. What's your name? Jason York. Ethan Ford. They shook hands. Ethan would have done it $4.20. But $100? That was huge money. Boss, can I use your workbench? Sure, Sal muttered, feeling salty about the $100 fee. Ethan sat down and started cleaning the card. He dragged it out. It was a 10-minute solder job. He took an hour. Perceived value. If he did it in 5 minutes, Jason would think it was easy and not worth $100. If he sweated over it for an hour, Jason would think he was a miracle worker. Finally, Ethan stood up. Done. He installed the card. Booted up. Windows 98 start sound. Desktop appeared. Yes, it works. Huh. Jason cheered. Thank you, man. You're a lifesaver. Jason shook Ethan's hand violently. Just doing my job, Ethan said coolly. Jason pulled out a thick wallet. Stacks of cash. He counted out $120. Here, $100 wasn't enough. Take an extra $20 for lunch. Ah, thanks, Jason. Ethan took the cash, trying not to shake with excitement. $120. Chapter 10-inch, I'm out of here. Diablo time. Jason grabbed his tower. A chauffeur in a suit came in to carry the heavy monitor. They loaded it into a Mercedes-Benz parked outside. Holy cow, Ethan. Mercedes? Chauffeur. Tank was awestruck. What kind of family is that? Rich ones. Ethan sniffed the cash. Smells like victory. Young man, nice skills. Sal walked over, rubbing his hands together. Ethan pocketed the cash. Thanks. He knew what was coming. I'm Sal. Here's my card. Sal Higgins, General Manager, Higgins Tech. Listen, you have talent. I have customers who need repairs, but I can't do them. How about we partner up? You come by after school. Fix things. Split the profit. 50-50. You could make a few hundred a month. Sal painted a rosy picture. Ethan looked at him calmly. Boss, your offer lacks sincerity. 50-50? I'm doing the work. If that's the deal, I'll go to the electronics mall downtown. They'll give me a better rate. Let's go, Tank. Ethan turned to leave. Wait. Sal grabbed him. Don't be hasty. If 50-50 is no good, what do you want? Ethan held up 2 fingers. 80/20. I get 80. What? 80/20ths? Sal gasped. Take it or leave it. Okay. 80/20ths. Sal grimaced. Better than nothing. And I collect payment directly from the customer, Ethan added. Fine. Sal sighed. Pleasure doing business, Sal. Ethan shook his hand. Ethan and Tank walked out. Ethan, you almost gave me a heart attack. I thought you blew it. Tank said. It's called negotiation, Tank. Know your worth. Walk away if they lowball you. Tank nodded, worshipping Ethan. Ethan, you're a god. Where to now? Home. No, to the mall. Why? To buy a gift for Grace. Grace Miller lay slumped over her desk, staring out the window at the house across the way. Ethan Ford's bedroom window was shut tight, the the curtains drawn. "Is that jerk Ethan not back yet?" she muttered, pouting. She stood up, grabbed a clothes pole, and poked at Ethan's window across the gap. "Ethan, you jerk!" she yelled, but there was no movement from the other side. "Where the hell did that guy go? Why isn't he back yet?" Creak. The door behind her opened. Grace, what are you doing?" Lily Miller walked in carrying a fruit platter, only to find her daughter poking Ethan's window with a laundry pole. Grace jumped, quickly retracting the pole and spinning around. "No, nothing, Mom. You walked so quietly, you scared me." Lily saw right through her. Mothers always know. Waiting for Ethan to come home. Lily set the fruit down, smiling. Grace's cheeks flushed. She puffed out her cheeks and denied it stubbornly. "I am not. Who's waiting for him?" Lily chuckled. "Come, have some fruit." Grace stashed the pole and ran over to eat the apple slices on the plate. Sitting on the bed, Lily watched her for a moment before asking suddenly, "Grace, do you like Ethan?" Cough, cough. Grace nearly choked on her apple, hacking loudly. "Mom, what are you saying? I don't like him. Only an idiot would like him." Grace argued, her face burning red. "Oh, is that so?" Lily covered her mouth to hide a smile at her daughter's embarrassment. "I think Ethan is a good kid. He's kind-hearted and smart." Chewing her apple, Grace retorted, "Mom, what's so good about him? I don't see it. All he does is bully me." "He bullies you? I don't believe that," Lily said, shaking her head. Grace was speechless. "Mom, are you his mom or mine? What does he bully you?" "Yesterday at school," Grace started, then suddenly turned beet red and swallowed her words. Thinking about how her first kiss had been stolen by Ethan in front of everyone, she felt like dying of shame. Lily smiled. "All right, take your time eating. I'm going to start dinner. Your dad will be home soon." Boom! Thunder rolled outside as dark clouds swallowed the sky. "Oh, it looks like a storm is coming. Did Ethan take an umbrella?" Lily looked out the window, muttering to herself before leaving the room. Crash! Thunder boomed again, and rain began to pelt down like pebbles, quickly turning into a torrential downpour. Grace closed the window, watching the rain lash against the glass, feeling a bit dazed. That jerk Ethan didn't bring an umbrella, did he? And I pop his bike tire. How is he going to get back? He won't get into an accident, will he? Is he going to get soaked like a drowned rat? Or fall into a ditch? Grace went back to her desk, restless. She lay her head down, staring blankly at the rain. A moment later, she jumped up and ran out. "Mom, I'm going out for a sec." She grabbed 2 umbrellas, pulled on her rain boots, and dashed out the door and down the stairs. Lily poked her head out of the kitchen, a knowing smile on her lips. That child acts like she doesn't care, but she worries about him more than anyone. Grace stood at the entrance of the Mill residential compound, holding her umbrella and scanning the road. Why isn't that jerk back yet? The rain lightened a bit. She sat on the bench by the gate, waiting for over half an hour. Suddenly, a bicycle appeared at the intersection. She stood up, squinting. As it got closer, she recognized Wayne, Tank, Turner pedaling, with Ethan sitting on a back. "Ethan," Grace smiled, waving her hand, secretly letting out a sigh of relief. Hearing her voice, Tank steered the bike toward her, skidding to a halt. "Finally made it." Tank wiped water from his face, soaked to the bone. "Grace, let me tell you. Ethan, you jerk, where have you been? Why are you back so late?" Grace ignored Tank completely, storming past him with her umbrella straight to Ethan. Tank froze. "Hey, don't ignore me. I'm a person too. I didn't expect the rain either. We got caught in the storm halfway back and had to wait it out," Ethan said, jumping off the bike. He was clutching something tightly in his arms. He wiped the rain from his face and grinned at her. "Now, were you waiting specifically for me?" Who was waiting for you?" "I wasn't. I was waiting for my dad." Grace blushed, looking flustered as she quickly changed the subject. "Huh? Don't you have a raincoat? Is your brain broken? You have a raincoat in your arms, but you don't wear it, letting yourself get soaked? Are you sick?" She nagged him as she stepped closer, holding her umbrella over him. It was a bit small, so they had to stand very close to fit under it. Ethan smelled the fresh, pleasant scent radiating from her. Even being scolded felt good. Is she worried about me? This girl has a sharp tongue, but a soft heart. What's in the raincoat? Grace noticed the bundle in his arms only when she got close. He seemed to be protecting something inside. She looked puzzled. What is so important that he'd rather get soaked than wear the raincoat? "Hey guys, maybe we should go inside," Tank yelled from under the awning of the security booth. Ethan grinned. "You'll see in a second. Let's get under cover." He dashed to the awning. Grace followed, full of curiosity. "What treasure are you holding?" "It's a birthday present for you." Grace froze. "But my birthday isn't until the Saturday after next." "Doesn't matter. I'm celebrating it early." Ethan peeled back the raincoat, revealing a 3-foot-tall pink pig plushie. The pig had 2 little backpacks hanging from its trotters and looked adorably goofy. "Happy early birthday, Grace." Grace stared at him in shock, her heart trembling. He let himself get soaked just to keep this plushie dry? Just because. It's a birthday gift for me. Her heart filled with surprise and sweetness, and her nose tingled with emotion. "Ethan, you jerk." "Don't like it." "I like it." "Like the color?" "I like it." "Like the style?" "I like it." "Like me?" "I like." You jerk. Taking advantage of me again." Grace's face turned crimson. She snatched the pink pig from his hands and said haughtily, "I accept the gift." Leaving one umbrella behind, she turned and walked away hugging the pink pig. Her face fell hot. If she didn't leave now, she'd embarrass herself in front of him. Holy crap, Ford, was the Ice Queen blushing just now? Tank asked, astonished. If even you could see it, then she definitely was. Ethan smiled. Ethan and Tank parted ways, heading to their respective homes. As soon as Ethan walked in, he saw his parents waiting at the dinner table, looking stern. "Son, where have you been? Why are you back so late? And look at you, you're soaked." Mary Ford saw her drenched son and couldn't help scolding him. Ethan scratched his head, feeling guilty for worrying them. "Mom, Tank and I had some business to take care of. We got delayed by the storm." Mary stood up and grabbed a towel, drying his wet hair with concern. "Honestly, never mind. Quick, go take a hot shower and change into dry clothes before you catch a cold." "You got it, Mom." Ethan grabbed some clothes and went to the bathroom for a hot shower. When he came out in fresh clothes, achoo! As soon as the cool air hit him, Ethan sneezed. "See, you caught a cold. Come eat dinner. I heated it up for you. You start eating. I'll go make you some hot tea with lemon and honey to warm you up," Mary said, distressed. Mom, I'm fine." Achoo! Ethan sneezed again right after speaking, sniffling. "Looks like I really did catch a cold. This body is so weak." Ethan mocked himself internally. "I need to improve my nutrition and start working out." "You say you're fine?" I'm making the tea." "You really?" Mary shook her head, wiped her hands, and went back to the kitchen. Ethan sat at the table. Dinner was green beans with pork and stir-fried sweet potato leaves. The little bit of meat in the dish had been picked out and placed in front of him. "Son, how's school going lately?" Frank Ford pulled out a pack of Marlboro Reds, about to light one, but saw Ethan and put it back. "It's okay. English and math aren't big problems, but I need to review the other subjects more," Ethan answered honestly. "Huh? Really? Your English and math used to be your worst. Did you say that backward?" Frank was stunned. "Dad, don't worry. I'll definitely get a good score on the college entrance exams," Ethan said confidently. Frank nodded. "It's good you have confidence. With exams coming up, stay home and study more. Don't go running around outside. Your mom was so worried she couldn't even eat. If something happens, call your Uncle George first. They have a landline. Don't make us worry." Ethan smiled apologetically. "I know, Dad. I'll remember." Father and son chatted idly until Mary came out with the hot tea. "Here, son, drink this. It'll warm you up." Ethan took the bowl, blew on it, and took a sip. The strong, tart warmth flowed through him. His heart felt warm too. "Son, where did you go with Wayne today? Don't come back this late next time," Mary said sternly, though her eyes were full of concern. Ethan put down the bowl and smiled. "Tank, and I want to make some extra cash." He pulled a waterproof plastic bag from his pocket. Inside was $300. He had already set aside the rest. 100 for the gift, 100 for Tank, and 100 for himself. This remaining 300 he planned to give to his mom to improve the family's meals. "Mom, take this $300. Use it to buy some better food." Mary and Frank stared at the money in his hand, dumbfounded. $300. That wasn't a small amount. It was a significant chunk of Frank's monthly salary at the struggling mill. "Son, where did you get this money? You didn't do anything illegal, did you?" "Son, we might be poor, but we can't do anything shady." Mary didn't take the money, asking nervously, "How could a high schooler make that much in a day?" Frank frowned, his voice sharp. "Speak up. Where did this come from?" Under their strict gaze, Ethan quickly explained. He told them he earned it by repairing computers and selling parts, fair and square. Hearing his explanation, their faces finally relaxed. Mary took the money, hugged Ethan excitedly, and kissed his forehead loudly. "Oh, my good son, we were wrong to doubt you. You really are capable. Mom is so happy." Mary beamed with joy. Frank looked gratified as well. "I always said my son was smart since he was little, huh?" "Ethan, that sounds a bit revisionist, Dad." "Mom, Dad, now that I can make money, we don't have to be so frugal. Let's add more meat to dinner. You guys need to eat well, too." He noticed his parents barely ate any meat, saving it all for him. "That wouldn't do. Long-term malnutrition was probably why his mother's health eventually failed in his past life. Mary counted the bills without looking up. We're done growing. It doesn't matter if we eat meat. I'm saving this money for your college fund. Frank sighed. Yeah, so. Tri-State Steel is doing worse every year. Rumor has it that for the economic restructuring, corporate in Pittsburgh might shut us down. If that happens, over 3,000 workers might get laid off. We need to save every penny. Ethan froze. He suddenly remembered that in his previous life, his father was indeed laid off in 2001. The Rust Belt collapse devastated families, sending many into poverty. Really? No way. Would the government just watch us lose our livelihoods? Mary's face paled. Frank rubbed his temples. It's all over the mill. I think it's likely. There's no other way. The mill is losing money. We rely on subsidies just to make payroll. It's only a matter of time. This news was a heavy blow to the family. Mary looked burdened. Her small income from selling vegetables only supplemented the household. Frank was the pillar. If he lost his job, the pillar would crumble. Silence fell over the dinner table, the atmosphere heavy and oppressive. Mom, Dad, don't worry. I can make money now. We'll get through this. Ethan broke the silence. Mary looked at Ethan's determined face, a relieved smile appearing. She hugged him gently. Our son has grown up. I'm happy. But your main job is to do well on your exams and get into a good university. Over at Grace's house, Lily cleared the table. It's not even your birthday yet, and Ethan already gave you a gift? And such a big plushie. It must have been expensive. Grace sat on the sofa, holding the pink pig by its ears and shaking it back and forth, looking incredibly happy. I don't know how much it cost, but it's the best gift Ethan has ever given me. She hugged the pig, nuzzling her face into its soft neck. So comfy. I'm so satisfied with this gift. George lowered his newspaper. Grace, since Ethan gave you such an expensive gift, you should think about getting him something nice in return. Yeah, I know, Dad. I'll think about it, Grace replied cheerfully. Mom, Dad, I'm going to my room to study. She jumped off the sofa, hugging the pig, and darted into her room, closing the door. That child hasn't let go of that doll since she got back. Lily shook her head, smiling. George put down his newspaper and chuckled. It means Ethan bought the right gift. That kid has always been smart. Lily wiped her hands. They grew up together. Of course he knows what she likes. She paused for a moment. George, do you think there's something going on between those two? George took out his reading glasses. That depends on fate. Matters of the heart are up to fate. I like Ethan, but it doesn't matter if I like him. Grace has to like him. Lily wiped the table. I don't think that girl hates him, that's for sure. In her room, Grace rolled around on her bed with the pink pig. Why isn't that jerk Ethan back in his room yet? How long does it take to eat dinner? He probably eats like a pig. Actually, this pig's nose and eyes kind of look like him. Grace held the pig up high. She thought about getting a return gift. This huge plushie must have cost a lot. At least 70 or 80 bucks. Where did he get that kind of money? Did he ask his mom for it? If he spent that much on me, will Annie Mary be mad at him? Grace sat up abruptly. She needed to know. Otherwise, she'd feel guilty. Hello, Grace. Ethan's voice suddenly came from outside the window. Grace hopped off the bed with the pig, went to the window, opened the curtains, and saw Ethan's smiling face across the way. Why did you take so long to eat tonight? Thought you turned into a pig. Grace pinched the plushie's cheek as if pinching Ethan's face. Yeah, I was helping my mom with the dishes. Why? Did you start missing me already? Ethan teased. Ah, miss you? In your dreams. But since you gave me a gift today, I'll protect you from now on. I guarantee no one besides me is allowed to bully you. Grace tilted her chin up proudly. Protect me? With what? Ethan stole a glance at her chest. You might not have enough coverage for that. Grace huffed. Underestimating me? Don't forget, I'm a judo black belt. If anyone bullies you, I'll put them in a cross-arm breaker. Grace used the pig as a dummy, locking its head in a hold. I can also do a shoulder throw. The pig was slammed onto the bed. Then give him a triangle choke. The pig was locked tight. And finally a throat chop. The pig was locked tight. Watching this, Ethan swallowed hard. Grace really had violent tendencies. Imagining those moves used on him made him shudder. Terrifying. But surely she wouldn't, right? Maybe? Ue, kaomoji, winku. Watching her dangle the pig by its head, his own neck felt chilly. Cough. Grace, if you keep torturing it, that plushie won't last long. Grace froze, then put the pig down and patted its head. No, I'll cherish it. By the way, Master Ford, I have a question. Did you ask Annie Mary for the money to buy this? It must have been expensive. Ethan briefly explained about earning the money. Grace looked relieved. Wow, didn't know you had talent, Master Ford. Can you teach me? Ethan saw she was serious. The Ice Queen learning computer repair? That would shock everyone. I can teach you, but heh, there have to be conditions, right? Grace paused, then grabbed the pig by the neck, held it high, and spoke in a terrifyingly calm voice. You dare negotiate conditions with me? Ethan, this demoness is not to be trifled with. Cough, don't be like that. I was just joking. With our relationship, who needs conditions? If you want to learn, I'll teach you unconditionally. Grace put the pig down. That's more like it. When are you coming over to teach me? Ethan pointed at her room. In your room. Why not? Sure, very sure. Haha. Why does your laugh sound so perverted? Does it? You slander me. Just then, a knock came at Grace's door. Grace, do you want some fruit? It was Lily's voice. Mom, I'm good. I need to finish homework. Grace shouted back. All right, I'll leave it on the table. Come get it when you want, Lily said. Okay, Mom. Hearing the footsteps fade, Grace turned back and saw Ethan wiping his nose with a tissue. Achoo, achoo. Ethan sneezed twice in a row, sniffling. Grace's heart tightened. You didn't catch a cold, did you? I'm fine. Just a little chill from the rain. I'll sleep it off. Ethan wiped his nose and forced a smile. Then go rest. Did you take any medicine? Grace asked, clutching the pig's ear. My mom made me some hot tea. I don't think I need medicine. We don't have any cold medicine at home. It's fine. I'll be good tomorrow. Ethan shrugged. Grace was worried. That jerk Ethan got sick just to buy me a gift. What idiot. Big idiot. Go to sleep early then. Grace closed her curtains and sat at her desk. She picked up her pen, but couldn't focus. If he doesn't take medicine, will he get a fever tonight? If he gets a fever, will it fry his brain? If his brain gets fried, will he become an idiot? If he becomes an idiot, who will take care of him? If he can't take care of himself, what if he leaves the gas on or something? He could die. Oh God, the consequences are too serious. Grace chewed on the end of her pen, spiraling into panic about Ethan dying from a cold. She paused. Am I overthinking this? His constitution isn't that weak, is it? But what if it is? Should I bring him some medicine? Grace thought for a moment, then stood up and tiptoed to the door. She pressed her ear against it. Silence in the living room. Her parents seemed to have gone to bed. She let out a breath and slowly opened the door, stepping lightly to avoid making noise. She went to the TV cabinet in the living room and opened it, searching the first aid kit. Where is it? I remember it being here. Grace scratched her head, puzzled. Grace, what are you looking for? Lily's voice suddenly sounded behind her. Grace jumped, standing up quickly with an awkward smile. Mom, you're still up? I was just looking for something. Lily glanced at the open kit and smiled. The cold medicine is in the left drawer. Grace froze. She didn't understand how her mother knew. Your Auntie Mary told me Ethan might have a slight cold. You want to bring him medicine, right? Lily saw right through her daughter's little scheme. Grace's face heated up. She pouted, thinking of an excuse, but decided to admit it. I wasn't. Okay, fine, yes, Mom. Go take it to him. I'm going to bed. Lily smiled and turned away. Grace exhaled, opened the drawer, and found the medicine. She grabbed it and went out the front door, crossing the hall to knock on Ethan's door. Who is it? Mary opened the door and saw Grace standing there prettily. Grace? What's wrong? Auntie, I heard Ethan has a cold. This is some medicine. He should take it. Grace handed over the box from behind her back. Mary took it, patting her head gently. Thank you, Grace. Grace stuck out her tongue playfully. Make sure he takes it and sleeps early. Auntie, I'm going back now. See you tomorrow. Okay, see you tomorrow. Grace felt much lighter after delivering the medicine. She returned to her room and finished her homework. By the time she was done reviewing, it was 11 p.m. A wave of drowsiness hit her. She yawned and stretched, her slender figure silhouetted in the light. Is that jerk asleep? She went to the window, peeked through the curtain, and saw his lights were out. He must be sleepy from the medicine. He should be better tomorrow, right? She leaned on her hands at the window, talking to herself. Seeing his room stay dark, she closed the curtains and went to bed, hugging the pink pig. She fell asleep quickly. That night, she had a strange dream. She dreamed Ethan was sick, shivering, and saying he was cold. There was nothing to keep him warm, so she hugged him tightly. They embraced like that for a while until he stopped shivering. She asked, Ethan, feeling better? Much better. Ethan turned around, but instead of his face, it was the pink pig's face. Monster. The pig face was cute, but on Ethan's body, it was terrifying. Monster. Take my cross arm breaker. Grace instinctively locked the pig-headed monster in a hold. Grace, wake up, time for school. Why are you talking in your sleep? Her mother's voice woke her. Grace opened her eyes to see Lily's face. Mom, morning. Lily didn't speak, just covered her mouth and giggled. looking at something funny. Grace followed her gaze and looked down. She had the pink pig in a deadly wrestling lock. It really was a dream. All right, get up and brush your teeth. I made fried eggs and apple cinnamon oatmeal. You take a thermos of it to Ethan too, Lily urged. Grace's eyes lit up at the mention of oatmeal. Yay, but then she realized, if Ethan hadn't gotten sick, she probably wouldn't be getting this special treatment. Damn, Mom, am I your biological daughter? After Lily left, Grace grabbed her laundry pole and performed her familiar routine of poking Ethan's window. Hey, lazybones, get up. You're going to be late. A moment later, the opposite curtain opened. Ethan appeared, rubbing his sleepy eyes. Morning, Grace. Morning, my foot. Go brush your teeth. I'm bringing you breakfast. Grace mimicked Lily's tone, but she added with concern, How are you feeling? Better. Ethan yawned and stretched. Much better. Thanks to your medicine last night. Thanks. He had felt weak the night before, symptoms worsening. But Mary brought the medicine, saying Grace delivered it. Ethan knew she cared. He slept early and woke up feeling fine. Don't mention it. I'm just loyal like that. Grace patted her chest. Ethan glanced at her. Hey, easy on the patting. Any harder, and it'll get even flatter. Grace. Ethan Ford, prepare to die. Slam. Grace slammed the window and curtains shut. Her chest heaved with anger. That jerk, daring to say I'm flat. The audacity. She looked down her collar. It's a little small, but not flat. Where's it flat? I'm developing normally, okay? Ugh, I'll deal with him later. Grace put on her uniform and stormed out to brush her teeth. At the table, she saw 2 matching thermoses packed. The aroma of apple cinnamon oatmeal made her mouth water. Mom is too good to that jerk. Grace, don't forget to bring it to Ethan. By the way, taste it to see if it's sweet enough. If it's too bland, add some sugar, Lily called from the kitchen. Grace's eyes darted around mischievously. She grinned. Mom, I feel it's a bit bland. Ethan has weird tastes. He likes things salty. I'll add a little salt for him. Knock, knock. Ethan's door sounded. Mary opened it to find Grace standing there with 2 thermoses. Morning, Annie. My mom made breakfast for Ethan too. Apple cinnamon oatmeal. Oh, she said you should come over and have some before you set up your stall. Grace smiled sweetly. Okay, I'll be right over, Mary replied, then turned back to yell. Son, Grace is waiting for you. Hurry up. Coming. Ethan shouted back. A moment later, he rushed out with his backpack. Morning, Grace. Oomph. Grace gave a haughty snort and turned to go downstairs. Ethan chuckled secretly. Did I make her mad? Mom, I'm off to school. You two be careful on the road. Will do. Downstairs, the sky was just beginning to brighten. Beautiful red clouds stretched across the eastern horizon, vibrant against the dim morning. Grace, look. The sunrise is beautiful. Ethan pointed at the fiery clouds. Grace wheeled out her bike and looked up, stunned by the beauty. It really was lovely. If only I had a phone to take a picture. Ethan sighed. What are you dreaming about? Cameras take pictures, phones make calls. Did the fever fry your brain? Grace mocked him mercilessly. Ethan paused. Right, phones couldn't take pictures yet. The hottest phone was the Nokia 3310. Great for snake, bad for photography. Maybe one day phones will do that. Ethan smiled. Who knows? Anyway, this thermos is yours. Don't mix them up. It's the one on the left. Grace instructed solemnly, pointing to the left side of her bike basket. Since both were identical stainless steel thermoses with no labels, position was the only identifier. Aren't they the same? Why distinguish? Unless you got more apples in yours. Ethan teased. It's because I already took a bite of the one on the right. It has my germs, so you can only eat the left one. Grace quickly made up an excuse. So what? I've eaten plenty of your leftovers growing up. Like your half-eaten lollipops. Ethan sat on the back rack of her bike. If you have the nerve to say that, get off. You expect me to carry you. Grace let go of the handlebars. Come on. Can't you care for a patient? Have some humanitarian spirit. Ethan held his forehead, acting weak. Stop faking. Want to taste my cross-arm breaker? Grace cracked her knuckles menacingly. I am cured. I'll drive. Ethan quickly hopped onto the seat. 1 second later, and he might have been decapitated. That's more like it. You know your place. Grace smoothed her skirt and sat on the back. Drive, little Ford. Take the queen to school. Yes, your majesty. Seat tight. Grace. Ouch, Grace, why did you pinch me? Who's the queen? Call me your highness. They arrived at school chatting and bickering. Ethan parked the bike and handed her a thermos. Here, Grace. This one is yours. Grace weighed in her hand. You didn't mix them up? What? Ethan turned back. Nothing. Let's go. Grace composed herself. Ethan looked at his own bike parked nearby, looking tragic. Grace, look at my bike. Still paralyzed here. All your fault. It was my old partner for 5 years. Grace huffed, blushing. Who told you to kiss me? You deserved it, humph. She turned and walked away. Ethan grinned. Looks like the little lady blushed. Every time I mention that she gets shy. Goo. He grabbed his thermos, shook his head, and whistled as he followed. As soon as Ethan entered the classroom, Tank ran up to him. Ford, bad news. Huge news. What? Godzilla attack? World War III. Ethan joked, sitting at his desk. No, it's what you predicted. Tank pulled a piece of paper from his pocket. It's a challenge letter. Someone actually sent a challenge letter. He wants to fight you at the back gate. Ethan paused, snatching the paper. Where did this come from? It was on your desk when I got here. Tank said. Ethan scanned it. A guy named Hunter Ziegler from Class 2, warning him to stay away from Grace, and meeting after school for a duel. Hunter Ziegler, Ethan remembered him. The Class 2 gym rep, built like a tank. One of Grace's fanatic pursuers. Grace had rejected him 7 or 8 times, but he wouldn't quit. Ethan thought about Hunter's gorilla physique, then looked at his own skinny frame. Ue, kaomoji, winku, ing. Duel? Kids games. I'm not doing that. It wasn't cowardice. Well, maybe a little. Ford, what do we do? Do we fight? Tank rolled up his sleeves, ready to throw down. Idiot. Exams are coming up. What if we get suspended for fighting? Tear it up, throw it in the trash. Pretend we never saw it. Ethan instructed. It was just teenage hormones. Maybe the guy would cool off and forget about it. Okay, whatever you say, Ford. Tank nodded simply, tore up the note, and tossed it. Ethan's stomach grumbled. Time for breakfast. He put the thermos on the desk. Grace, who had been chatting in the hallway, walked back in and sat in the seat in front of him. You eating breakfast? Grace stared at his oatmeal with a weird smile. Ethan rolled his eyes. If I don't eat it, am I supposed to frame it? He scooped up a spoonful, blowing on it gently. Grace's eyes gleamed. She clenched her fist. Eat it. Eat it. It's delicious. Eat. She stared at the spoon with a look that bordered on maniacal. Ethan suddenly looked up. Why are you staring at me? Am I extra handsome today? Grace. Yeah, handsome. Like a handsome monkey. She sat down, pulled out a small mirror, and watched Ethan eat through the reflection, full of anticipation. Ethan took a big bite. His face lit up with surprise. Grace, your mom's oatmeal is amazing. So good. Grace was stunned. What? Does he not taste the salt? Impossible. I put in like 5 spoonfuls of salt. How can he not taste it? Grace was bewildered. Is my portion the wrong one? She quickly opened her thermos and took a spoonful. She spat the oatmeal out instantly, her face scrunching up in disgust. So salty. How? Why is mine so salty? Wait. Her mind flashed back to the bike shed. Ethan handing her the thermos. Ha ha. I knew it. Die. Ethan's wicked laughter erupted behind her. Grace spun around to glare at him. You switched the thermoses. Ethan grinned. Nice try. Think you can outsmart me. From a moment she insisted he take the left one, he knew something was fishy. Just in case, he swapped them while parking. And she really did spike it. Good thing I'm a genius. You jerk. Give me back my oatmeal. Grace clawed at him, trying to snatch his breakfast. Ethan protected his food. I already ate from this. You still want it? Aren't you afraid of my germs? Grace gritted her teeth. I'm hungry. I don't care. Give it. Nope. Bite me. Holy crap. Are you a dog? You actually bit me. Let go. Give it. Stop fighting. Let's share it. Fine. Grace was truly starving, so she agreed. The two of them, 2 spoons, eating from the same thermos. Ethan, you took too much. Save some for me. You eat too slow, not my fault. Ugh, you big mouth. Hey, you have a small mouth. Got a problem with that. The scene left the rest of the class dumbfounded. Oh my god. The Ice Queen is sharing oatmeal with Ethan. Are they that close? No way. Are they dating? Holy crap. Big news. No, Grace, don't do this. I'll buy you breakfast. OMG, my heart is broken. Damn it. The class buzzed with gossip. Tank sat nearby, mouth agape. Ford is a legend. How's he do it? Has Grace fallen for him? Grace's deskmate, Chloe Jones, watched them with a knowing, motherly smile. These two, kinda sweet. I ship it. Soon, the thermos was clean. Herb not bad. The oatmeal was good, eggs were good. Annie's cooking is great. Ethan belched. Another round tomorrow? Grace rolled her eyes. Keep dreaming. Morning, Grace. Suddenly, a booming voice echoed from the door. Everyone turned to look. A large, thick-browed youth stood there. Hunter Ziegler from Class 2. Hunter walked in briskly and placed a bear claw pastry on Grace's desk in front of everyone. Grace, I bought you breakfast. Have some. Grace frowned, reverting to her cold persona. She pointed at the empty thermos. No thanks, Hunter. I just ate. I'm full. Hunter smiled awkwardly but persisted. It's okay. Keep it for later when you get hungry. He set the pastry down, then noticed the 2 spoons in the empty thermos. Huh, why are there 2 spoons? One of them is mine. Huh. Ethan laughed dryly, retrieving his spoon. What? Oh no. Hunter grabbed his hair. Did they share the same bowl? My goddess Grace. How could she? Hunter felt like the sky had collapsed. He asked Grace blankly, Is this true? Grace blushed, mumbling, I guess. Yeah, something like that. Hunter's face turned dark instantly. He glared at Ethan with hatred, like the calm before a storm. Jealousy burned in his chest. First, Ethan kisses her in public. Now, they share breakfast. Ethan, did you get my challenge letter? Challenge letter? What letter? I don't know. Ethan shrugged, feigning ignorance. This kid is so serious. Annoying. Huh, you don't know? I'll put it on your desk. Doesn't matter. After school, back gate. If you don't show, you're a coward. If you admit you're a wuss, then don't come. Huh. Hunter sneered. Ethan narrowed his eyes and tapped the desk. I didn't want to bother with you, but since you're eager to die, I'll oblige you. Damn it. Am I afraid of hothead? I navigated the business world for decades. If I can't handle a Hunter Ziegler, I'm not Ethan Ford. I don't start trouble, but I don't fear it. If you mess with me, I mess you up. Good? You got guts. Back gate. Hunter glared. Hunter, what are you doing? This is school. Grace realized something was wrong and stood up to scold him. Hunter switched to a smile immediately. Hey, Grace, stay out of this. This is between men. The bell rang. Grace, I'm heading back. Hunter turned to leave, but stopped at the door to shoot Ethan a mocking grin. Just wait, Ethan. I'm gonna wreck you. Ethan stared back without flinching. When he was gone, Grace huffed. Ethan, don't be scared. Walk with me after school. I'll cover you. I dare him to touch a hair on your head. Ethan couldn't let her get involved in something dangerous. He waved it off. Sure. You wait for me at the bike shed. This needs to be resolved. If I don't fix it, Hunter won't quit. I need a permanent solution. Don't worry, Ethan. I've always protected you. This is no exception, Grace said proudly. Tank looked envious. Wow, Ford has been protected by the school beauty since childhood. So jealous. Ethan smiled, remembering how in kindergarten, he and Grace could take on 4 or 5 kids together. Mostly because Grace was fierce. That was why her dad put her in judo classes. After that, no one dared mess with her. Class begins. Their homeroom teacher, Mr. Zane, walked in briskly. Grace turned around. Tank whispered to Ethan. Ford, what's the plan? You and Hunter. Different weight classes, man. He's the gym rep. Ethan smiled. Relax. I have ways to deal with him. If muscle solved everything, why would we need brains? You have a plan, Ford? Tank asked curiously. Come here. Ethan beckoned. Tank leaned in, and Ethan whispered in his ear. Tank's face lit up. Ford, you're a genius. That plan is toxic. Ethan patted his shoulder, grinning wickedly. I guarantee Hunter will have a blast. Afternoon. Class 1 and Class 2 had PE together. Hunter Ziegler sat on the bleachers, watching Grace play hacky sack on the soccer field with a goofy grin. Grace wore her loose gym uniform, ponytail bobbing, her exquisite face smiling sweetly. Her skin seemed to glow in the sun. Grace is so beautiful today. Hunter rested his chin on his hands, unable to look away. Yeah, Grace is the beauty of Oak Creek High. Of course she's pretty. Go for it, Hunter. You'll get her eventually. A skinny, rat-faced boy next to him cheered. Yeah, I think Hunter and Grace make a perfect couple. Totally, Hunter's got this. Several other boys chimed in. Other students gave their group a wide berth. Hunter was a bully in Class 2, big and loud. No one dared mess with him, especially with his pack of lackeys. Hearing their praise, Hunter felt confident. Damn straight. I'm going to win her over. Suddenly, he saw Ethan walk up to Grace on the field. They were talking. Then Grace raised a hand to hit him, and Ethan ran. They started chasing each other playfully. Hunter's face went black. Shit, that Ethan kid is still clinging to her. Vince, keep an eye on him after school. Don't let him run. I'm going to teach him a lesson. Vince Howe, the skinny sidekick, whispered. No problem, Hunter. I got him. I'll block him at the gate. Hunter sneered. Ethan is blind. I'm going to open his eyes. He cracked his massive knuckles. Crack, crack. With his scrawny frame, you'll crush him, Hunter. He's dead meat. Vince laughed darkly. I could beat him with one arm tied behind my back, Hunter declared arrogantly. He had liked Grace for 3 years. With graduation approaching, he planned to make his move. But first, he had to clear the obstacles, especially Ethan, who had stolen her first kiss. Unforgivable. He stared daggers at Ethan, getting more annoyed by the second watching them play. Damn it, let's go. He couldn't watch anymore. He couldn't hit Ethan here, so he left with his crew. On the field, Ethan glanced toward the bleachers, saw Hunter leaving, and smirked. Ethan, you jerk, stop. Who has elephant legs? Explain yourself, or I'll tear you in half. Grace bared her little tiger teeth, clawing at him. Ethan raised a hand. Stop. What? Grace paused. No, I was wrong. I take it back. Your legs aren't like elephant legs, Ethan said solemnly. Grace looked satisfied. That's better. You only learn when threatened. I meant to say, they look like alligator legs. Snap, snap. Ethan grinned. You jerk. Plapava to die. Grace lunged, tackling him to the grass. Eat my cross-arm breaker. Grace grabbed his head, locking it against her chest, her legs wrapping around him like vines to pin his arms. Ethan was nearly suffocated. Let go. You're killing me. Grace loosened up slightly, looking proud. Dare to insult me again? Asking for a beating. Ethan gasped for air, resting his head on her chest. Feels kind of soft. Nice. He closed his eyes, enjoying the moment. Ethan? Hey jerk, you okay? Grace saw his eyes closed and panicked, thinking she choked him out. But when she tilted her head and saw his perverted grin as he nuzzled her chest. Ethan, you, jerk, fud. Ethan was kicked away. Grace's face burned red all the way to her neck. That detestable guy. He copped a feel. He's the worst. Cough, Grace, don't be impulsive. Impulsiveness is the devil. Ethan rubbed his butt, standing up. Grace rubbed her fist, smiling darkly. Don't resist. It'll be over soon. Hit. Então, emote com surpreso, emote com piscando. Run, he turned to flee. Stop. Don't run. Grace shouted, giving chase. Their renewed chase drew eyes from both classes. Chloe Jones watched from the sideline, smiling maternally. She nudged Tank. Aren't they a pair of sweethearts? Hey, perfect match. Tank laughed. Chloe sighed enviously. Yeah, I envy that kind of relationship. Tank suddenly remembered something. Oh, he got to go. Almost forgot the mission. The gym teacher blew the whistle 3 times to gather everyone. Hunter and Vince were at the field entrance, plotting the beatdown. Suddenly, Tank came rushing back from outside, crashing right into Hunter. Shit, watch where you're going. Hunter grabbed Tank by the collar. Hey, sorry. Didn't mean to. Tank waved his hands apologetically. He was holding an ice-cold bottle of Coke. I remember you. You sit next to Ethan, right? Hunter glared. Yeah, I'm Wayne. Whose drink is that? It's for Ford. I'm confiscating it. Tell him to come get it from me. Hunter snatched the Coke, laughing arrogantly. Tank lowered his head, silent, appearing to submit. Scram. Hunter shoved him away. Tank ran back to his class without looking back. What a wuss. Ethan is probably just as spineless. Hunter mocked. He twisted the cap off the Coke and chugged it down in big gulps. Glug, glug, glug. Burp that hit the spot. He let out a long belch, satisfied. P ended, and after one more class, school was out. The final bell rang. Cheers erupted as students packed their bags and flooded the halls. Ethan, let's go, Grace called out, grabbing her bag. You go wait at the bike shed. I gotta take a huge dump. Ethan made an excuse. Lazy people always have too much poop and pee. Hurry up. Grace hummed a tune and left. When she was gone, Ethan turned to Tank. How's the plan? Solid. Absolutely solid. Ford, don't worry. I went to Mr. Zane and Dean Nelson already. Tank patted his chest. Ethan patted Tank's shoulder. Wow, didn't know you had such execution skills, Tank. For you, Ford? Anything. Tank grinned loyally. All right, let's go. To the back gate. Ethan stood up. Let's roll. At the door, Vince Howe was watching. Joe, Ethan. Leaving, he sneered. Ethan ignored him, glancing past him, and headed for the back gate with Tank. Outside the back gate, 40 or 50 students had gathered. News had spread. Class 2's Hunter Ziegler was dueling Class 1's Ethan Ford over the school beauty. Hunter had promised to turn Ethan into a pig's head. It was exciting drama for a boring school day. No one wanted to miss it. Hunter's coming out, someone shouted. Hunter Ziegler walked out, but he was clutching his stomach, his face pale. Hunter, you okay? A boy asked, noticing his state. Shit, don't ask. Must have eaten something bad. Had the runs right after class. Just my luck. Hunter looked miserable. During class, he felt a sudden urge. He held it until the bell, then sprinted to the bathroom. Diarrhea. So bad his legs were numb. But to teach Ethan a lesson, he held back the remaining urge and came to the gate. Gurgle. His stomach churned violently. The pressure was building. Go, Hunter. I believe in you. Yeah, Hunter. Show that Class 1 kid what's up. Hunter is the man. His classmates cheered him on. Hunter clamped his legs together, praying he wouldn't explode. He waved weakly. Thanks for the support, guys. Hunter, Ethan is here. Vince shouted. Everyone looked. Ethan was walking over, hands in pockets, looking relaxed. Hello, everyone. People in the back. Move up. Let me see your hands. Ethan waved like a celebrity. Hunter. Still acting cool? Let's see you smile in a minute. Ethan, you got guts showing up. Hunter stepped forward. Yeah, I've seen bigger scenes than this. Why wouldn't I? Ethan said calmly. Hunter cracked his knuckles. Good. Cut the crap. Let's start. If I don't make you cry for your mommy today, my name isn't Hunter. Then change your name to Runner, because you'll be running home to your mommy soon. Ethan smirked. Shit, you're dead. Hunter raised a hand to strike. Stop. Wait. Ethan held up a hand. What? Any last words? Hunter paused. I haven't warmed up yet. Let me stretch first. Tank, hold my bag. Ethan handed his bag to Tank and started stretching. Leg stretches, waist twists, ankle rolls. He did a full calisthenics routine in front of everyone. Gurgle, gurgle. Hunter's stomach roiled. The pressure was critical. His face was purple, glutes clenched tight. Damn it. Are you done? Hurry up. He needed to end this and find a toilet. What's the rush? Haven't stretched my back yet. Ethan said slowly, glancing at him. Seeing Hunter's purple face, he almost laughed. Guy can't hold it much longer. Screw it. I'm ending you. Hunter roared. He couldn't wait. Hunter swung a fist at Ethan's face. But it was slow. He couldn't exert full force without risking a containment breach. Ethan saw it coming a mile away. He dodged. Ethan smirked and punched Hunter right in the gut. Hunter's face went white. Oh no. OMG. No. Hunter deflated. The floodgates opened. A series of wet, explosive sounds erupted. A yellow, semi-liquid substance sprayed out, instantly soaking his pants from seat to ankle. Hunter had soiled himself. Publicly. The crowd froze. Everyone stared, jaw dropped. Dead silence fell over the 50 students. Vince opened his mouth, then covered his nose. Hunter pooped himself. In front of everyone. OMG. Hunter stood frozen, eyes glazed over. He felt the warmth running down his legs. Oh my God. You crap your pants. Ethan yelled, acting shocked. Hunter's brain short-circuited. That sentence hit him like lightning. He looked at Ethan covering his nose, then at the crowd. Disgust, mockery, laughter. Whoosh. The crowd erupted, backing away several meters. Holy shit. Hunter crapped himself. Ha ha ha. Gross. It smells so bad. Ha ha ha. I'm dying. Ethan literally beat the crap out of him. Hearing the voices, Hunter experienced social death. Complete and utter social death. He wanted to find a hole and die. Mommy, I want to go home. He glared at Ethan's smug face and snapped. He grabbed Ethan's collar. This is your fault. Ethan rolled his eyes. You decided to let it go. How is that my fault? Fuck. I'll kill you. Hunter raised his fist. Stop. What are you doing? A booming voice. Mr. Zane and Dean Nelson appeared. Crap. It's over. Splat. Ethan spat out a mouthful of blood and collapsed. Hunter, you hit me. Ethan sat on the ground, looking tragic, blood dripping from his mouth. Hunter was bewildered. WTF? Where did the blood come from? I haven't hit you yet. Ethan, are you okay? Mr. Zane ran over, helping Ethan up. Seeing the blood, he turned on Hunter. Hunter Ziegler, how could you hit someone? This is school property. How dare you be so violent? Unbelievable. Dean, he. Hunter stammered. Dean Nelson's face was dark. He smelled the stench. Hunter, call your parents immediately. This is a serious infraction. Hunter felt like he'd been struck by lightning. It's over. Ethan, are you okay? Should we go to the hospital? Mr. Zane asked anxiously. Ethan spoke weakly. Mr. Zane, I'm fine. Look at you. How can you be fine? Tank, help Ethan to the nurse's office. You got it, sir. Tank rushed over to support Ethan, giving him a covert thumbs up. Legend. Ethan gave a subtle smile, then groaned in pain. Mr. Zane, you have to get justice for me. Hunter nearly vomited blood in anger. This guy's too fake. Teacher, I swear, I didn't hit him. I absolutely didn't. If I touched him, may lightning strike me. Hunter swore to the heavens. Mr. Zane glared at him. Still lying? You think we're blind? Hunter panicked. Ask them. They saw it. Dean Nelson asked sternly. Did Hunter Ziegler throw a punch? The crowd nodded. They had indeed seen Hunter swing first. Hunter. WTF. I am innocent. See? Everyone saw it. Dean Nelson scolded. Bullying classmates and lying about it. How do we have a student like you? Come with me. Call your parents now. Hunter slumped. Defeated. Ethan, go to the nurse. Don't worry, I'll handle this, Mr. Zane assured him. Thanks, Mr. Zane, Ethan said gratefully, then winked at Tank to bail. Tank helped Ethan walk away. Dean Nelson approached Hunter to grab him, but recoiled at the smell. Good Lord, did you soil yourself? Go change your pants first. Now, Hunter's spirit was broken. On the way to the bike shed. Holy shit, Ford, that was epic. Tank raved. Your plan was genius. Look at Hunter, he was about to cry. And your acting? Oscar-worthy. Ethan wiped the blood from his mouth. Give me a tissue. Here. Ethan wiped the red goo. Tank, the ketchup packets were a bit messy. Tank scratched his head. Sorry, Ford. Couldn't find fake blood, so I grabbed a handful of ketchup from the cafeteria. But seriously, putting laxatives in the Coke? Brilliant. He's gonna be famous for pooping himself. Ethan rinsed his mouth with water. He asked for it. I was merciful not to kill him. Tank shivered. Note to self. Never cross Ford. Nurse's office? Nah, going home. Ethan smiled. Trouble resolved. Chicken killed to scare the monkeys. Ethan, you jerk. Grace stormed over. Cough. Nothing, just went to the back gate. Ethan smiled. You're hurt. Did Hunter hit you? I'm gonna kill him. Grace saw the red stain on his collar and rolled up her sleeves. Ethan grabbed her. She really would fight for me. It's fake. Ketchup. Grace paused. Ketchup. Ethan explained the plan. Grace listened, stunned. Wow, Ethan, you are insidious. But, nice job. Huh. She patted his shoulder. Of course. Think I let myself get beat up. Let's go home. At the bike shed, Ethan went for Grace's bike. Ride your own. Tires fixed. Grace pointed. Fixed. Ethan checked. It was indeed fixed. You think I can't fix a tire? Grace smirked. Impressive. Ethan smiled, then covertly pressed his foot against the front wheel and yanked. Crack. Oh, the front wheel looks bent. Ethan feigned shock. What? Grace checked. It was wobbling. Weird. It was fine just now. Tank watched, covering his mouth to suppress laughter. Ford is unstoppable. Guess you have to drive me again, Grace. Fina. Hop on. Ethan jumped on the back. Drive, peasant. Ethan sat on the back, lightly holding Grace's waist. Her waist is so tiny. He pinched it. Hey, don't tickle me. Grace shouted. Grace, how much do you weigh? Rude. Asking a girl her weight. Guessing 90 pounds? Not telling. If you don't tell me, how can I buy you clothes? Clothes. You always wear that uniform. Don't you want to dress up? No thanks. Save your money for college. Ethan paused. She's already saving me money? Goo. They arrived home. Grace went straight to her room. Grace, why rush to your room? Lily asked. Just looking for clothes, Mom. In her room, Grace dug through her closet. I'm not a tomboy. She found a floral dress from freshman year. She put on. It was tight. She tried to zip the back, but her chest was too big. Snap, the zipper broke. Ugh, Grace pouted. She realized she had mostly uniforms and tracksuits. I don't have pretty dresses. She flopped on the bed. You always wear that uniform. Ethan's voice echoed. Why do I care what he thinks? She changed back into her uniform. Lily knocked. Grace? Dinner soon. Coming. At dinner, George Miller looked worried. What's wrong, honey? Lily asked. I have to go to Pittsburgh tomorrow for a few days, George sighed. Corporate is looking to merge or shut us down. Pittsburgh Steel wants to talk. I need you to come with me, Lily. I need your advice. Pittsburgh? That's serious, Lily said. Okay. How long? 3 days. Grace. Lily turned to her daughter. Your dad and I are going to Pittsburgh. You take care of yourself. Okay, Mom. Lily hesitated. I'll ask Ethan to come over and keep you company. You two can study together. Huh? Ethan. Grace panicked. Alone with Ethan? Her face heated up. Don't like playing with Ethan? Lily teased. No, I mean, it's fine. Grace looked down. Evening. Ethan was watching Friends reruns. Mary asked, son, study? After this episode. Knock, knock. Ethan opened the door. Lily stood there with watermelon. Un dia. Ethan. I need a favor. Uncle George and I are going to Pittsburgh tomorrow for 3 days. Can you look after Grace? Make sure she studies. Ethan's eyes lit up. Understood. I will. Take great care of her. Good boy. Mary laughed. Don't worry, sis. We'll feed her. Ethan went back to his room, thrilled. 3 days alone with Grace. Thwack. Mary flicked his forehead. Don't bully her. Mom, she's a black belt. She bullies me. She's a sweet girl. Go study. Ethan went to his room, opened the curtains. Grace was there. Hello, Grace. Ethan grinned wickedly. Your mom asked me to supervise you for 3 days. Haha. What are you so happy about? Just happy to be with you for 3 days. Collapsed text. The editing artifact in. Internal calculation note. And the punctuation issue in. The cultural adaptations regarding the cooking scene and historical references have been reviewed for smoothness. Grace Miller saw that distinctively annoying smirk on his face and immediately assumed he was armed with her mother's decree, ready to boss her around. She huffed, crossing her arms. Don't even think about ordering me around. If you dare use my mom's words to blackmail me, I'll introduce you to the taste of my sleeper hold again. Ethan Ford. Grace Miller, what kind of wiring do you have in that brain of yours? That's not what I meant at all. Ahem, relax. I wouldn't do that, Ethan said, raising his hands in surrender. At most, I'd just ask you to cook a meal or something. No, I'm not cooking. Is it that you won't, or you can't? Who says I can't? My culinary skills are top-notch. Okay. Really? But I've never seen you cook. Can you actually do it? There's nothing this girl can't do. Wait, you almost tricked me. Even if I can, I won't cook for you. Ethan watched her narrowly escape his trap. What a pity. Fine, I didn't expect you to be so sharp. Grace moved her chair to the window, declaring proudly, Of course. My dad says I've been smart since I was little. IQ of 114, you know. Ethan rolled his eyes playfully and grinned. Is that so? You're that smart? I don't believe it. Let me test you with a few questions. Bring it on. Is a giraffe taller than an elephant? Yes. Is a rabbit faster than a turtle? Yes. Is a cow heavier than a pig? Yes. Is there any difference between you and a pig? Answer fast. No, none. Ha ha ha. Grace. Damn it, tricked by that stinky Ethan again. You did that on purpose. Ethan laughed. Let me ask you one more. You just have to answer yes or no. What question? Does your dad know you're this dumb? No. No, doesn't know. Ha ha ha. Jerk. You tricked me again. Grace angrily yanked the curtain shut, refusing to talk to Ethan anymore. Damn it, stinky Ethan. All he does is trick me all day. I'm ignoring you. Grace jumped on her bed, grabbed her pink pig plushie, and locked it into a tight chokehold. Stinky Ethan, I'll choke you out. Then she proceeded to knead the pig's head in every direction. Stinky Ethan, I'll roll your face into a ball and squash you. Stinky Ethan, eat my foot. Stomp you flat. Creak, sweetie, what are you doing? The bedroom door suddenly opened, and Lily Miller stared at her daughter in shock. She saw Grace with both hands around the pink pig's neck, gritting her teeth as if she had a deep-seated vendetta against the stuffed animal. Mom, I was just cleaning the dust off the doll. Huh? Grace laughed awkwardly, patting the pink pig's head gently. Oh, I just want to tell Ethan that he'll be studying with you for the next 3 days. You two need to get along, okay? Lily instructed. Grace squeezed the pink pig's neck, and with a twist of her wrist, the pig's head flopped to the side, as if she had snapped it. Mom, I know. I will definitely get along with Ethan. She emphasized the word along with a heavy bite. That's good. Hurry up and review. I'm going to rest. Lily closed the door. Grace threw the pink pig onto the bed, sat back at her desk, and chewed on the end of her pen. Stinky Ethan, just wait until tomorrow. I'll deal with you. The next day, Grace walked to school with Ethan as usual. Shortly after Ethan returned to the classroom, Mr. Zane led Hunter Ziegler to the doorway. Ethan, come out for a second. Mr. Zane called. Ethan walked to the door. What's up, Mr. Zane? We met with Hunter's parents yesterday and gave him a good talking to. He's been given a serious demerit by the school, and now I've brought him here specifically to apologize to you. As Mr. Zane spoke, he turned and glared at Hunter. Hunter looked at Ethan, fear visible on his face. After yesterday's events, he knew Ethan was not someone to mess with. The guy was too sinister. He bowed 90 degrees to Ethan, admitting his mistake. Ethan, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please forgive me. Others in the class whispered among themselves upon seeing this. Hunter Ziegler finally got what was coming to him. If he didn't apologize properly, he might have been expelled. Ethan is intense. He got Hunter completely tamed, bowing and scraping. From now on, don't mess with Ethan. Hunter got wrecked. He's the example. Ethan revealed a nuclear smile, patting Hunter on the shoulder. It's okay, I forgive you. No fight, no friendship, right? We're friends for now on, aren't we? Hunter saw that smile and felt his scalp go numb, a chill running down his spine. Right, friends. Mr. Zane said to Ethan with great relief. Ethan, I didn't expect you to be so magnanimous. Not bad at all. You deserve praise. You flatter me, sir. My heart has always been quite open and broad, Ethan said shamelessly. Hunter, Ethan's skin is thick as a wall. Don't mess with someone this shameless in the future. This kind of person definitely takes revenge by any means necessary. All right, you two go back in. Class is about to start. Mr. Zane dismissed them. Yes, sir. Ethan returned to his seat. Grace turned around and asked, what did the homeroom teacher want? Reconciling with Hunter? Ethan nodded. Yeah, reconciled. I reckon he'll walk the long way around if he sees me coming. Grace covered her mouth and laughed. You wrecked him that bad. It'd be weird if he wasn't scared of you. Grace, how do you plan to thank me? I took care of a frantic pursuer for you. Shouldn't you thank me? Ethan seized the opportunity to ask for benefits. Like treating him to a meal, or cooking one at home would work too. None of my business. Grace turned back around with a huff. Ethan stared. This girl's skin was pretty thick too. The bell rang. This period was history. The history teacher was Mr. Moore, a man in his 50s with thick reading glasses, looking every bit the old academic. Class, settle down. Good morning, Mr. Moore, please sit. Today we're going to learn about the history of the Three Musketeers. Mr. Moore taught like he was chanting scriptures. Ethan didn't absorb much, his attention entirely on Grace's back. He could see a hint of pink beneath Grace's pure white uniform shirt. Oh my, too distracting. Ethan suddenly had the urge to tug on something. But reason told him better not, lest Grace get angry. Ethan twirled his pen, deliberately letting it fly out of his hand onto the floor in front of him. Clatter, the pen landed by Grace's foot. Grace, I dropped my pen. Grace bent down to pick it up for him, handing it back without turning her head. Thanks. A few minutes later, clatter, Ethan's pen fell to the floor again, right by her foot. Grace, my pen dropped again. Grace huffed impatiently, picking it up for him again. Another few minutes passed. Clatter, Grace. My pen. Grace bent down to pick it up, then turned and glared at him. If you can't twirl a pen, don't twirl it, okay? All addiction, no skill. Here. Ethan took the pen with a smile. Thanks. Another few minutes later, clatter, the pen dropped for the fourth time. Grace. Grace picked up the pen, turned around, and huffed. You want it? I'm not giving it to you. With that, she immediately confiscated the pen, putting it into her own pencil case. Wayne Tank, Turner scratched his head confusedly and whispered, Ethan, she confiscated your pen. Ethan chuckled. Yeah, let her use it. You're not asking for it back. Tank asked, baffled. Why ask for it back? I gave it to her. Now she doesn't have to buy one herself, Ethan whispered. Tank looked like he half understood, then suddenly had an epiphany. He gave a thumbs up. You can do that. Nice one, Ethan. By the way, Ethan, I went to Sal's place this morning. He has 2 computers that need you to fix them. Ethan nodded, replying casually, all right, we'll go over after school. Tank, from now on, run over there every morning to check if there's work. You run errands for me, and I won't shortchange you. Tank nodded heavily. Deal, no problem. Last time I brought money home to my mom, she even praised me for being capable. Ethan patted his shoulder and said seriously, Tank, do you trust me? Of course I trust you. Tank said without hesitation. We're going to do big business in the future. You work for me, and there will be endless money to earn, big houses to live in. Ethan said solemnly, once we earn enough capital from Sal Higgins, we'll open our own computer repair shop, resell computer parts. Parts can make a lot of money in the future. Tank, you're the brother I trust the most. Only you can help me with this. I don't trust anyone else. Hearing this, Tank was deeply moved. His eyes reddened. Ethan, I'm sticking with you. Whatever you say, I'll do. Ethan smiled, patting his shoulder. I'm relieved to hear that. Tank was his brother, his best bud, but also a pitiable guy. His family situation wasn't optimistic. That alcoholic, gambling father was a mountain pressing down on him, forcing the mother and son to give up money every other day. No matter what, he had to pull him up and move that mountain off him. Ethan, what are you two chatting about? So excited. Stand up and answer a question. Suddenly, Mr. Moore on the podium shouted. Instantly, the whole class's gaze converged on Ethan. Ethan got caught by the teacher again. Ethan laughed dryly and stood up dutifully. Mr. Moore, what was the question? I was just talking about the Three Musketeers and their bond. You tell me, when the Three Musketeers finally united against the Cardinal's guards, what was their famous motto? Ethan froze. What did those French guys say? How would I know? Page 58. Grace's voice drifted over faintly. Other students, be quiet. You answer. Mr. Moore said sternly. Ethan scratched his head, racking his brain, but coming up with nothing. He finally said, did they say, we need a 4 for poker? Grace. Mr. Moore. The whole class. Ha ha. The whole class was amused by Ethan's answer, erupting into laughter. Even the serious and old-fashioned Mr. Moore couldn't help but crack a smile. Grace was clutching her stomach, laughing. Ethan, you're really something. Huh. Ethan grinned. What could he do? If he couldn't answer, he just had to wing it. Ahem. All right, Ethan, sit down. Read your book and listen to the lesson properly. No chatting in class. Mr. Moore suppressed his smile and said sternly, Yes, yes, sir. I'll definitely listen carefully, Ethan said with an awkward laugh. Time flew, and in the blink of an eye, the school day ended. Ethan let Grace go home first. Then he hopped on the back of Tank's bike and headed to Sal Higgins' shop in the commercial district. Arriving at the shop, Sal welcomed them warmly. Haha, young Ethan is here. Come, have some tea first. Sal handed over a cup of tea, his face blooming with a smile. Seeing Ethan was like seeing the god of wealth. In his eyes, Ethan was pretty much a money tree right now. No need for tea. I'll head back once the work is done. Where are the computers? Ethan waved. Sal's hand holding the teacup froze, a bit awkward. But he quickly set the cup down and said right inside, 2 towers, neither will turn on. Ethan nodded, walked into the workspace, and began inspecting the towers. For these 2 machines, one had a power supply issue, the other had a loose solder joint on the motherboard. A capacitor had fallen off. Sal, what price did you negotiate with the customers? Hee, all according to your rates. Won't turn on is a flat $150. Blue screen is $100. Lagging is $80. No parts included, pure repair labor. I agreed on $150 for both with them, Sal said, rubbing his hands together. These 2 machines would bring in $300 instantly. He'd get his cut of $60. Easy money. Not bad. Notify them to come pick up the machines in a bit. Ethan smiled, starting the repairs. You got it. Sal nodded busily. Over an hour later, Ethan successfully fixed both towers. Both were working normally. Right now was the PC explosion era. Repair technology hadn't become widespread yet, so he was earning money on the cutting edge. As the saying goes, even a pig can fly if it stands in a whirlwind. Done, Ethan said to Sal. 2 middle-aged men waiting in the shop heard him and came over joyfully to check. They booted them up and checked. Indeed, both were fixed. Thank you. Thank you so much. If this wasn't fixed, I might have had to spend over $1,000 to buy a new computer, one of the men in a suit said gratefully. You're welcome, sir. Take the machines back. They should be good for a few years, Ethan smiled. The 2 men paid Ethan, then happily carried their towers away. After they were far gone, Ethan counted the cash. $300. 3 crisp bills. This money smelled sweet. Tank watched, dumbfounded. Ethan earned $300 in just over an hour. That was insane. Sticking with Ethan was definitely the right move. Young Ethan. Sal rubbed his hands beside him, eyeing the money in his hand greedily. If only he could fix computers, that $300 would be his. Too bad he didn't know how and could only take a 20% commission. Here, Sal, this is your share. Give me the change. Ethan handed over a $100 bill. Yes, thanks, young Ethan. Sal was already overjoyed to earn $60 for doing nothing. He gave Ethan $40 in change. Ethan pocketed the cash and smiled. All right, Sal, work's done. We're heading back. See you later. Tank, let's go. The 2 left the shop, got on the bike, and headed toward home. At the entrance to the residential compound, passing the Orchid convenience store, Ethan told Tank to stop. What's up, Ethan? Tank asked, confused. Wait for me, I'm buying something. Ethan got off the bike and walked into the store. Ethan, school's out? Mrs. King, the owner, greeted him. Yeah, Mrs. King, give me 2 boxes of that premium oatmeal, the best kind, Ethan said, pointing to the shelf with the nutritional supplements. The most expensive ones? Those are $20 a box. Mrs. King reminded him. $20 was a week's grocery money for a family of 3. It's fine, grab me 2 boxes, Ethan said. All right, Mrs. King took 2 boxes of fancy packaged nutritional oatmeal from a shelf and handed them to Ethan. This stuff was great for breakfast, nutritious, filling, and tasted good. Ethan paid. Mrs. King, I'm heading back now. Leaving the store, Ethan handed the 2 boxes of oatmeal to Tank. Tank, take these 2 boxes back to your mom. It's got good nutrition, good for her health, Ethan said. Ethan, this won't do. This is too expensive. 2 boxes are $40. No, I can't accept this. Tank refused repeatedly. He knew he hadn't helped much, just ran some errands. Receiving such an expensive gift made him feel uneasy. Listen to me, take it. Don't argue. It's a little something for your mom, Ethan said sternly. Tank saw the determined look in Ethan's eyes, and his own eyes moistened. He wiped a tear and said gratefully, All right, thanks, Ethan. Ethan then pulled a $100 bill from his wallet and handed it to him. I know your family is having a harder time than mine. Keep this 100 to improve your meals. And remember, don't let your dad scavenge it. If your dad comes asking for money, you come find me. I'll stand up for you. Hearing this, Tank's heart shook. His nose stung, and tears couldn't help but flow. It was so good to have a big brother like this. Ethan, Tank clutched the $100, too choked up to speak. Ethan patted his shoulder and laughed. What are you crying for? A grown man, what's there to cry about? Come on, wipe your tears. Our lives are going to get better and better. Tank nodded heavily. I know, Ethan. After parting with Tank in the compound, Ethan returned home. As soon as he entered, he saw Grace sitting obediently on the sofa, watching TV. That posture, that expression, she looked incredibly well-behaved, like a perfect lady. Ethan's back. Grace heard the noise, turned her head, and smiled without showing her teeth. Ethan grinned. Good Lord, ever since Grace came to my house, it's like she's a different person. Grace, what show are you watching? Ethan put down his bag, walked over, and sat down casually next to her. As soon as he got close to Grace, he could smell a faint fragrance. He didn't know if it was her natural scent or the smell of her shampoo. Gilmore Girls. You like it too? Grace asked, sitting primly. Ethan looked at her chubby side profile and couldn't resist pinching her cheek. Yeah, I like it too. I realize you look a bit like Rory, the daughter, but you're prettier than her. Ethan pinched her soft cheek as he spoke. Stinky Ethan. Grace instantly broke character, revealing her true form, and choked Ethan's neck with both hands. Grace, is Ethan back? Tell him to wash his hands. Dinner's ready. Mary Ford's voice came from the kitchen. Grace quickly let go. The next moment, Mary came out of the kitchen carrying a dish. Auntie Mary's cooking smells so good, Grace said sweetly. Ethan straightened his clothes, smiling smugly. He seemed to have found Grace's weakness. Grace has such a sharp nose. Mary laughed. She's born in the year of the dog. Of course it's sharp, Ethan muttered. Grace's face didn't change, keeping her sweet smile, but she stomped heavily on the top of his foot. But Ethan dodged it easily, making Grace glare in anger. You child, really? Can't you speak nicely? Can't you learn from Grace? Mary glared at Ethan. Ethan grinned. Learn from her? Can't do it. I'm going to wash my hands. Ethan came out after washing his hands and saw Grace helping set the table and arrange the chairs. Grace, I'm festy. Can you pour me a cup of tea? Ethan sat on a chair, smiling mischievously. Grace glared at him and whispered, Do you not have legs? I'm a little tired. Go on, Ethan grinned. Grace was about to explode when Mary walked out again. Come on, time to eat. Grace immediately changed her expression, smiled sweetly, went to pour Ethan a cup of tea, and personally brought it to him. Drink up. Hope it scalds you. Mary saw Grace pouring tea for Ethan and immediately wiped her hands, walked over, and grabbed Ethan's ear. You child, how can you make Grace pour tea for you? So rude. Ethan yelped in pain. Mom, let go, it hurts. Mom, you're protecting her too much. Auntie, it's okay. I used to pour it for him all the time. I'm used to it, Grace said with a pitiful look, acting aggrieved. Ethan. Grace, with acting skills that good, you should have won an Oscar. Mary pulled his ear again. See? You just know how to bully Grace. Don't do it again. Hear me? Okay, Mom, I know. Ethan said quickly. Mary finally let go and went back to the kitchen to clean up. His father, Frank Ford, came out of the kitchen with a dish, smiling. Grace is eating with us today, so we added some extra dishes. Grace, see if there's anything you like. Grace sat next to Ethan like a well-behaved little wife. They're all my favorites. Thank you, Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank and Auntie Mary worked hard. Frank chuckled. No hard work at all. Come, let's eat. Ethan looked at the food on the table. Barbecue ribs, chili stir-fry pork, roast duck, garlic lettuce, and a meatball soup. 3 meat dishes, 1 veggie, and a soup. His eyes went straight. My God, the food today is too lavish. This was festival-level dining. Mary came out, sat next to Grace, and personally served her food. Come, Grace, eat more. It's all your favorites. Eat up. Ethan immediately shouted, Mom, I want a meatball. Mary rolled her eyes at him. Get it yourself. Ethan. The meal was delicious, yet Ethan ate it with such depression. After eating and drinking his fill, Grace helped wash the dishes and wipe the table, then sweetly bid farewell to Mary. Auntie, I'm going home to review my homework. Good girl, go ahead. Mary smiled kindly. By Auntie, by Uncle. Grace waved and turned out the door. Ethan, full and paralyzed on the sofa watching TV, got kicked by Mary. Go study with Grace. The college entrance exam is coming up, and you're watching TV. If you don't test well, see what I do to you. Ethan smiled helplessly. Okay, Mom. I'm going to study with her right now. He grabbed his bag from his room and walked to the door opposite his, the Miller's. As soon as he entered, he saw Grace taking off her clothes. Grace had just taken off half when she suddenly saw Ethan barge in. She froze instantly. Stinky Ethan. Grace quickly lowered her hands, covering her chest, and glared at him. Ahem, I didn't mean to. I didn't see anything, really, Ethan said solemnly. Why didn't you knock before coming in? Grace adjusted her clothes, her face flushing red as she questioned him through gritted teeth. I did it subconsciously, out of habit. Hey, don't just blame me. Why are you changing clothes right here? My parents aren't home. Can't I change wherever I want? Grace dashed into her room to change. Back in her room, Grace leaned against the door, her little heart beating fast. Damn it, did Stinky Ethan see anything? That stinky guy. She just felt her cheeks burning, thinking that if Ethan had seen. It was so embarrassing. Stinky guy always taking advantage of me. She looked down at her chest, and suddenly a thought arose. Would he think it was a bit small? A while later, she appeared at the bedroom door changed in a loose loungewear. A loose white long-sleeve cotton shirt plus loose sweatpants. It should have been comfortable, but the combination was a bit odd. Come in. Grace glared at him. Ethan grinned and walked into Grace's bedroom. When they were kids, he often went in and out of Grace's room, but after middle school, it became less frequent. Once high school started, Mary told him that boys and girls are different and told him not to run into Grace's room all the time. So, in these 3 years, the number of times Ethan entered her room could be counted on one hand. Walking in her boudoir again, the first thing he smelled was a unique fragrance. It was a faint scent, very similar to the smell on Grace herself. Is a girl's scent really marinated into them? He looked around the room. The furniture was simple, but pink was everywhere. Pink sheets, pink posters of female stars on the wall, pink bookshelf. Aside from the bed, the biggest thing in the room was the desk. It was a long and wide desk, with various small tools and stationery arranged neatly on top. Although there were many items, it didn't look cluttered at all. Instead, it showed that Grace had a bit of obsessive-compulsive disorder for tidiness. What are you staring at? Bring a chair in yourself. You sit on the outside, I sit on the inside. Grace rolled her eyes at him. Sure, no problem. Ethan brought a chair in. The long desk had just enough space for 2 people. The 2 sat side by side like this and began to review. Ethan was reviewing some liberal arts points that required memorization, while Grace was reviewing math. For a while, the room was quiet, with only the scratching sound of pens on paper. After a bit, Grace suddenly asked, Ethan, what major do you want to apply for at Chicago U? Computer science, I guess, Ethan replied without looking up. Computer science? Is that a good major? Grace looked up and asked in surprise. She thought Ethan would apply for English or something. Computers are the future trend. Of course it's good. What about you? Don't tell me, let me guess. Animal husbandry, so you can raise pigs back home. Go die. You're the one raising pigs. No yokes. Do you want to apply for architectural design? I never told you. How did you know? Ethan put down his pen, turned his head, and said with a serious face, I won't hide it anymore. I'm revealing my hand. I'm actually a psychic. Fate, divination, palm reading, I know it all. Grace saw him spouting nonsense so seriously and couldn't help but burst out laughing, shaking like a flower branch. You're psychic? I think you're a bullshit psychic. Huh? Ethan chuckled lightly and said mysteriously, If you don't believe me, let me read your palm and you'll see. Really? Here, look. Grace extended her jade-white right hand. This hand had skin like snow, white with a hint of pink. Ethan's heart stirred as he held her hand with both of his. Holding it, Ethan felt her hand was soft, boneless, smooth, and tender, very comfortable to hold. He narrowed his eyes, one finger tracing lines on her palm. After a long while, Grace got impatient. Hey, Stinky Ethan, do you actually know how to read palms? Sure, don't be loud. I was just carefully sensing the flow of your palm lines, Ethan said pretentiously. So, did you see any clues? Grace asked curiously. I discovered that your life is missing something very important. Huh? Missing what? Missing wood? Or missing water? Your life is missing me. Grace was stunned, staring at him in astonishment. Ethan's face was full of seriousness, looking like he wasn't joking. Thwack! Grace blushed and flicked his forehead. Ow, it hurts! Grace, why did you hit me? Ethan shouted, clutching his head. For teasing me again. Missing you in my life. If I missed you, stinky guy, wouldn't that be perfect? Then I'd be carefree for my whole life. Still dare to flirt with me? Taste my sleeper hold. Grace grabbed him and dragged him onto the bed. Ethan resisted desperately, refusing to yield. Help! Murder! Grace pinned him down, laughing triumphantly. Scream. Go ahead and scream. Even if you scream your throat raw, no one can save you. Throat raw. Throat raw. Grace! Damn it. Still have a mind to tease me? Watch me choke you. Grace's hands went for Ethan's neck. Ethan was a guy after all. Although he didn't have brute force like Hunter, his short-term explosive power was still a bit stronger than a girl's. Ahem, just a bit. Ethan grabbed her wrists, pulled her off him, and then hugged her instead. He dare to lock me? Watch this. Ethan puckered his lips and leaned in as if to kiss her face. Grace's cheeks went crimson. She gritted her teeth and shouted, "Damn it, rascal. Yeah." Thud. Ethan was kicked off the bed. Ouch. Ethan cried out in pain and climbed up from the floor. Grace, you violent maniac. Ethan, you big pervert. The two stared at each other, and the room fell into silence. Ethan then said, isn't this perfect? Looks like we're a good match. Grace, underscore. She felt her heartbeat speed up and her face burn. This stinky Ethan. What nonsense is he spouting? Ethan, if you do that again, I'll ask you to curl yourself into a ball and move forward rapidly with minimum friction. Roll. All right, no more teasing. Hurry up and do homework. The two returned to their seats and hurried to do their homework. An hour later, Ethan finished his homework first and stretched. Finished done. Grace looked up and asked in surprise, "How are you so fast?" Grace, can't you change your phrasing? For example, you could say, "How are you so smart?" Finishing so quickly. Ethan rolled his eyes at her. Grace suddenly thought of something, catching the drift in Ethan's words. Blushing, she spat. "It's your brain that's full of dirty thoughts." Ethan turned around, jumped on her bed, and lay on her pillow to rest. So comfortable. I'll sleep in your bed. You keep doing homework. Ethan grabbed the pink pig and put it behind his back as a cushion. Grace immediately became unhappy and shouted, "Stinky Ethan, don't crush my pink pig." Aren't plushies used for cushions? Ethan paused. Mine isn't. I use it to hug when I sleep. What if you squash it flat? Grace climbed onto the bed, snatched the pink pig from behind Ethan, patted it, and put it by the bedside. Ethan didn't expect her to cherish the plushie he gave her so much. All right. It's a bit cold. I'll use your blanket. Ethan pulled the blanket over himself. A unique fragrance wafted over, refreshing the heart. Such a good smell. This blanket is full of Grace's scent. Grace saw him sniffing her blanket specifically, blushed, and said, "What are you doing? You're not allowed to use my blanket. You smell bad. You'll stink up my blanket." She pulled the blanket back too. Ethan grinned, indifferent. Fine. Then I can just lie here and rest, right? It's not like I haven't slept in your bed before. Grace suddenly burst out laughing. What are you laughing at? You saying that reminds me of when you were little and wet my bed, and you were scared my mom would find out. So you covered it with clothes after you woke up? You look so funny. I'll remember it forever. I remember an embarrassing story of yours too. Walking home from school, you stepped in dog poop, didn't dare wipe it, and threw your shoes away. Later you got a scolding from your dad. Those were new shoes that cost over $30. You came running to my house, crying after being scolded, and hid in my room. So funny. Ethan mercilessly exposed her embarrassing past too. You went to the bathroom without washing your hands. And you peeked at me going to the bathroom. You got chased by the big yellow dog. You want to talk? You broke that yellow dog's leg, and your dad had to pay them a sum of money. You jerk. The two started arguing again, tit for tat, glaring at each other. Suddenly, both their stomachs protested at the same time. Ethan, how about we get something to eat first? Grace, yeah, my thoughts exactly. After bickering for so long, their dinner had long since digested. They walked out of the room together to forage in the kitchen. Grace, is there anything to eat in your house? Ethan poured a glass of water and asked. I don't know either. I remember there should be dried spaghetti. Grace wasn't sure, bending down to search the kitchen cabinets. Do you never go into the kitchen? Ethan took a sip of water, curious. How is that possible? I can cook too, okay. Grace replied without turning her head, though her voice sounded a bit weak. Hey, I found food. It's spaghetti. She excitedly pulled out the package of dried pasta, showing it off in front of Ethan. Ethan, I'll whip something out for you to eat. Ethan sprayed a mouthful of water. Damn it. Ethan, what are you doing? You sprayed me. Grace puffed up her pink cheeks in anger. No, nothing. Sorry, just choked on the water. Ethan laughed awkwardly. What kind of phrasing is that? Serve you right if you choke to death. Hurry up and let's cook. Grace glared at him. All right. Hey, didn't you say you could cook? You should know how to make pasta, right? Ethan asked. Of course I can. Don't underestimate this girl. Grace lifted her chin. All right then. I'll leave it to you. Don't forget, this is your house. I count as a guest. Ethan started the moral blackmail. You count as a fart of a guest. Grace retorted. Don't tell me you can't cook it. then I'll reluctantly do it. If you can't, say so early. Ethan used reverse psychology. Sure enough, Grace couldn't stand being provoked and immediately shouted, "Who says I can't? You go wait outside and watch this girl show off her skills." "Alrighty, it's settled then. Thanks." Hee. Ethan grinned smugly and dashed out of the kitchen. Grace. Crap, how did I fall for his trap again? Damn it. Grace held a roll of spaghetti, looked at the condiments in the kitchen, and looked bewildered. This pasta, how do you cook it? She really hadn't cooked before. At most, she helped out. With her mom cooking, or her dad if her mom was busy, it was never her turn. She rarely entered the kitchen and rarely touched cookware. Now, cooking pasta left her completely clueless. What to do? If she couldn't make it, she'd definitely be laughed at by Stinky Ethan. No, absolutely not. How can I let Stinky Ethan look down on me? No matter what, I have to make it. It's just boiling pasta. Can it stump this genius girl? Grace, you can do it. Grace thought, cheering herself on, and began preparing to cook. Following the method her mother had mentioned, she first filled a pot with water, then turned on the gas stove. Click! She successfully lit the fire. Haha, ignition successful. Doesn't seem that hard. Grace was happy about lighting the stove. Next, put the pasta in directly. She was confused again. She forgot if her mom put noodles in cold water or hot water. Forget it, it's all water anyway. The water will boil eventually. Just put it in. She opened the plastic film of the spaghetti and pulled out a handful. This little? Probably not enough. Ethan is a glutton, eats a lot. Better put in more. Then she pulled out 2 more handfuls, using up almost half the package. Haha, another thing done. She smiled proudly, clapping her hands. Next, prepare some sides for him. How about some eggs and green veggie leaves? She rubbed her chin in thought. Decision made. She grabbed an egg and plucked some lettuce leaves. Lettuce leaves are too big, not tasty. Like Mom does, cut them to strips. They're better that way. Grace picked up the kitchen knife. This was one of the few times she'd touched one. She took a lettuce leaf and clumsily began to cut. Meanwhile, outside the kitchen, Ethan sat on the sofa with his legs crossed, snacking on sunflower seeds he found in the living room. Soon he'd be eating pasta cooked by Grace herself. So, anticipating. Cooking pasta is such a simple thing. She'd definitely do it well. He just needed to wait and eat. Ah, how happy to have a wife who can cook. He cracked seeds, happily waiting for Grace's noodles. In the kitchen, Grace was cutting lettuce when she suddenly smelled something burning. What's burning? Ah, my pasta. She suddenly realized the pasta was cooking in the pot. She hurriedly lifted the lid and stared blankly at the scene inside. Why had the water boiled dry? I clearly put in a lot of water. What happened? She quickly turned off the fire and scraped with a spoon. The noodles on top didn't seem cooked, but the ones on the bottom were mushy paste. Oh, what is my brain thinking? I think I forgot to stir after putting them in. Grace slapped her forehead, annoyed at her mistake. But no worries, just a little burnt. Should be edible. Add some water and keep boiling. Thinking this, she added 2 bowls of water, stirred this time, and lit the fire again. She continued cutting lettuce, finally managing to slice a dozen leaves. Pasta should be about done. Put in the leaves, then crack an egg in. She couldn't remember the steps, but that was roughly the impression. So she dumped the irregularly shaped vegetable leaves in and stirred. Seemed like the water reduced again. The noodle water was thick like snot. Grace didn't care anymore, as long as it was edible. She couldn't guarantee how good it would taste. Next, crack an egg in. She didn't know how to crack eggs. Imitating her mother, she tapped it on the edge of the pot. She used force with her wrist. Crack! The egg broke in half. The egg whites, yolk, and half the shell fell into the pot. Ah! Eggshell fell in. Fish it out quick. Grace hurriedly used the spoon to fish out the shell. But when she scooped, the shell seemed smaller. Phew, should be fine. Next is the most important step. Seasoning. Grace looked serious. She planned to put in some oil, then soy sauce and salt. Peanut oil went in successfully. Next, soy sauce. This bottle of black liquid should be it, right? She grabbed it and poured it into the pot. Glug, glug, glug. After pouring quite a bit, she suddenly smelled a sour vinegar scent. She brought the bottle to her nose and sniffed. This is vinegar. Old balsamic vinegar. Crap, what do I do? Grace stared blankly. She just poured a lot of vinegar in. How to salvage this pot of pasta? Vinegar. Maybe add some sugar to make sweet and sour pasta. Right? Like sweet and sour ribs. It must be very appetizing. So she found the white sugar, grabbed a handful, threw it in, and stirred. Finally, she planned to add soy sauce and salt. The soy sauce turned it all black. Dark soy sauce. It is soy sauce, right? Maybe putting in a bit more soy sauce just makes it this black. Very likely. Then I'll just add less salt. For such a big pot of pasta, 2 spoons of salt should be enough. Grace pondered while scooping 2 small spoons of salt. Stir again, letting all ingredients and seasonings fuse together. Done. Grace, ready yet? I'm starving flat. Ethan shouted from outside the kitchen. Ready, ready, don't rush. I'm plating it for you right now. Grace quickly used chopsticks to pull the noodles out. Maybe they were overcooked. The noodles broke as soon as she grabbed them. She had to use a spoon to scoop. Before long, a bowl of dark, sticky egg pasta was served. She held the edge of the large bowl with a towel and carried it out. Comeat pasta. Fragrant pasta. Grace shouted as she brought the noodles to the dining table. Quack. Finally cooked. I was about to faint from hunger. Ethan ran excitedly from the living room. When he arrived at the table and saw the large bowl of dark, mushy noodles, he instantly turned to stone. That sticky liquid. Those pitch-black noodles. That weird oily sheen. Oh God. Looking from up, down, left, right, from no angle did it look like a delicious bowl of pasta. Ethan twitched the corner of his mouth, pointing at the bizarre noodles, and asked in shock, This is the pasta you cooked? Grace smiled proudly. Yeah, I just gave it a very nice name. Soul-stealing, delicious egg pasta. Ethan, Angda, is it really that good? Grace said seriously, Of course, it's definitely delicious. After all, it gathers all my effort. This is the most heartfelt bowl of noodles I've ever made. But this color, why isn't it quite right? The egg is black. Ethan stared blankly. Grace put a hand on his shoulder, pressed him into the chair, and explained patiently, Don't just look at its appearance. Don't judge a book by its cover. Noodles are the same. Don't think just because it's black. You have to feel its flavor with your heart. Ethan paused. So philosophical. I'm almost convinced. Grace looked expectant. Then eat up quick. Ethan picked up his chopsticks, stirred around. It was so black he couldn't see what was inside. Better taste it first. Ethan picked up a chopstick full of noodles, blew on it, and put it in his mouth. Chew, chew. How is it? Grace lowered her head, fists clenched tight, looking nervous. It was her first time cooking pasta. She really wanted to know if Ethan liked the taste. Very delicious. Blue. Ethan retched twice, rushed to the bathroom, and vomited everything he had just eaten, along with his stomach acid. When he came out of the bathroom, his face was pale. He pointed at Grace accusingly. Grace Miller, what grudge do we have? You actually dared to poison me. Grace, is it really that bad? She had been looking forward to a relatively good reaction from Ethan, but the reaction seemed a tad excessive. He actually threw up. It shouldn't be. It can't be that bad, right? Bad. Ethan returned to the table, looking at her with a strange gaze. Grace, I've undergone special training. No matter how bad it is, I can endure it. Unless it's extremely terrible. If you don't believe me, taste it yourself. And there are actually eggshells in the noodles. Grace, is that your secret ingredient too? Grace still didn't believe it. How could it be extremely terrible? Not to the point of making someone vomit, right? Surely stinky Ethan was exaggerating. I don't believe it. I'll taste it myself. Grace picked up Ethan's chopsticks, grabbed a mouthful herself, and put it in her mouth. Grace immediately felt a chaotic mix of flavors in her mouth. Sour, sweet, salty, and a disgusting burnt taste. These complex flavors stimulated her stomach into a somersault. Blue. She couldn't help but spit it out, vomiting on the floor, then dashed into the bathroom. After a good while, she came out holding onto the wall. Well, delicious, isn't it? Ethan had swept the floor clean and looked up with a smile. Grace laughed awkwardly. Earlier, she had boasted in front of Ethan, only to fail spectacularly in the blink of an eye. Truly embarrassing. She'd probably become the butt of stinky Ethan's jokes again. Ahem, I admit the taste was slightly off, so cooking noodles should be your job. Ethan didn't continue to strike her down. He thought Grace's cooking skills might be average, but he didn't expect reality to be 100,000 miles away from imagination. How about this? I'll teach you. Otherwise, if you're home alone later, you won't even be able to cook noodles. Wouldn't you starve? I'll teach you hand in hand. Personal guidance. Ethan smiled. Grace lit up hearing this. Okay. Ethan and Grace went to the kitchen. Now follow my steps. Before officially boiling pasta, prepare the pot. Add water. Grace paused. Ethan's tone felt weird, but she couldn't pinpoint where. Need this much water? She asked, confused. Yes, Ethan said solemnly. Before the water boils and we add the pasta, let's prepare the preliminaries. Cut some greens. Here, you hold the knife. I'll teach you the correct grip hand in hand. Ethan pulled her in front of him, then hugged her from behind, holding her hands to grip the kitchen knife. Holding it your way makes it easy to cut your fingers. It should be like this. Ethan spoke patiently, but Grace, feeling Ethan's breath by her ear, blushed furiously. Her heart raced, thumping wildly. Why is it like this? Grace, don't think random thoughts. Focus, she told herself secretly. But right now, the two were very close, especially with Ethan holding her hands. It made the deer in her heart ram around. Grace, did you hear clearly? Huh? Clear. I guess. Grace snapped back, dazed. Then you cut a bit yourself. Try it, find a feeling. Ethan let go of her hands. Okay. Grace followed Ethan's grip method, cutting slowly. Sure enough, it was much neater than before. Hey, it really is easier to cut. She was pleasantly surprised, happy to have learned a new skill. Cutting vegetables uses the finesse of the wrist, not brute force. Practice a few times and you'll get used to it. Ethan smiled. I understand. Grace nodded. She cut more proficiently, maintaining the technique even as she sped up slightly. Ethan praised. Not bad, got it so fast. Your perception is okay. Of course, this girl learns fast. Grace said proudly. Bubble, bubble. The water in the pot boiled. Ethan grinned. Grace, watch closely. To take spaghetti out of the package, you know the amount by gripping it. Grip it with your hand. Feel the thickness. See, like this. What one hand can just hold is just right. That's a portion for two. Ethan handed the spaghetti to her. Grace gripped it and realized, so that's just right. Grace then followed his method, putting the noodles into the pot and letting go. Sure enough, the spaghetti fanned out around the pot. Oh, okay. Grace pouted her small mouth, operating as he instructed. Seeing the pasta was about done, Ethan said, all right, now you can put the eggs and greens in. Don't throw eggshells in this time. You can crack it into a bowl first, then pour it into the pot. Ensure what you pour and has no shells. Grace laughed awkwardly. That was a mistake. Add eggs, add greens, simple salt for seasoning. 2 bowls of noodles, finally completed with their joint effort. Carrying the egg pasta to the dining table, it emitted the fragrance of egg soup. Golden eggs and green lettuce intertwined, looking delicious. Grace was very satisfied. Turns out cooking pasta isn't hard. And who knew Ethan had a hand for cooking? Ethan smiled. How is it? My pasta is okay, right? Okay. We're both starving. Let's eat quick. Grace picked up chopsticks to grab some, but Ethan stopped her. Hey, wait. There's a method to eating pasta too. You have to chew quickly. Okay, listening to you. Grace ate according to his method, and her eyes lit up immediately. It's really tasty. Ethan almost sprayed out the noodles in his mouth, luckily covering it in time. Ahem, if it's tasty, eat more. There will be plenty of chances to eat it in the future. Ethan chuckled with a wicked grin, his tone strange. Grace looked at him suspiciously. Then suddenly a bolt of lightning flashed in her mind. She realized her phrasing just now was a bit ambiguous. I meant the noodles you cooked are delicious. Damn it. Ethan, what kind of stuff is in your brain? Grace blushed and glared at him fiercely. Ethan pretended to be innocent. What did you say? I don't understand any of it. Ignoring you. Grace blushed, not wanting Ethan to see, so she buried her head in eating noodles. But her embarrassment was fully captured by Ethan. This girl's mind is a bit pure. True, in this era, young people probably didn't have the awareness to make dirty jokes anytime, anywhere. A meal of noodles filled their stomachs. Sated, the two slumped in their chairs. Ethan, go wash the dishes. Wash mine too, thanks. Grace patted her belly. Why? No way. I'm a guest, and I cooked the noodles. You wash them, thanks. Ethan chuckled and shook his head. Then let's rock, paper, scissors. Loser washes, Grace suggested. Hearing this, Ethan sat up and shouted, Fine. Come on, Grace, I'm gonna win. Don't underestimate me. Grace sat up straight too. The two made eye contact, hiding their right hands behind their backs. 3, 2, 1. Rock, paper, scissors. Grace threw rock, and Ethan threw scissors. Ethan laughed inwardly. This girl still loves throwing rock. Really too lazy to beat her. Although he knew Grace would likely throw rock, he still chose scissors. Oh yeah, I won. Grace jumped up happily like a child. She spun, hopped, her jet black hair swaying gently. That exquisite, beautiful face bloomed with a captivating smile. This smile was so clean, flawless. So moving, soul-stealing. Grace is really pretty. Ethan stared a bit, lamenting in his heart. How did he not think she was this pretty before? Before, in others' eyes, she was the ice queen, the unattainable school beauty. In his eyes, she was just a violent maniac who liked to cling to people. Really, sometimes the true treasure is right beside you, yet you don't discover it. Ethan looked at her, the corner of his mouth revealing a warm smile. Ethan, hurry up and wash the dishes. After you wash them, I can help you review English. Your English is pretty bad, Need to cram a bit. Otherwise, it'd be a pity if English dragged down your exam score, Grace said solemnly. Okay. Ethan grinned, got up to clear the table and wash dishes. After finishing the chores, the two returned to the room and began reviewing English. Grace, there's an English sentence I don't quite understand. Can you tell me? What sentence? I like you. What does this mean? You don't even know that? I like you. Me too. Stinky Ethan, looking for a beating. Their voices drifted out the window, melting into the deep night. This night was quiet and beautiful. The next day, Saturday, weekends were the gods of students and workers. That morning, Grace woke up from her dreams. The first thing she did was use a clothes pole to poke at Ethan's window. Young Master Ethan, wake up. Master Ethan, the sun is burning your butt. Grace poked the window and shouted twice, finding no movement opposite. Is Ethan sleeping too soundly? Just as she was about to keep poking, the curtains opened. But it was Mary Ford who appeared in the window. At that moment, she froze in embarrassment. Annie Mary, good morning. She quickly retracted the pole, her face full of awkwardness. Mary covered her mouth and laughed. Ethan went out with Tank early in the morning. He can't sit still on weekends. Grace scratched her head, laughing dryly. Is that so? Grace, remember to come over for breakfast later, Mary reminded her, continuing to dust with a feather duster. Okay, Grace responded and quickly pulled her curtains shut. That was too awkward just now. Stinky Ethan went out early to play and didn't call me. Really? Grace changed clothes, went out to wash up, and found something on the dining table. Walking closer, it was soy milk, fried dough sticks, and meat buns. There was also a note beside it. One look at the writing and Grace knew it was Ethan's. Grace, I bought you breakfast. Remember to eat it. Ethan, universe's most handsome, Ford. Grace looked at the note, her heart trembling inexplicably, feeling warm inside. Stinky Ethan, count yourself lucky. This girl forgives you this time. She folded the note and kept it close, sat in the chair, and ate breakfast. A sweet smile hung on her lips the whole time. She took a bite of meat bun, muttering to herself, where did that guy Ethan run off to with Tank? At this moment, Ethan and Tank were on a bustling commercial street in the downtown district, the Mag Mile. This was the liveliest, most prosperous center of Chicago, weaving with people every day. Because here sat the city's largest shopping center, the Metro Mall. Ethan watched the shuttling crowd, the payphone booths every few dozen meters, newsstands on both sides, some elderly people sitting under shop awnings leisurely eating buns. It was full of the daily life atmosphere of the city. Ethan, what are we doing here? Tank asked, confused. Finding a suitable storefront. Renting a shop. After the college entrance exam, we'll use the 2-month break to earn some money. Ethan smiled. He had a detailed plan in mind. Working for Sal was just using his platform to earn some initial capital. In the end, he had to do his own business. He had about $1,000 on hand now. Enough to secure a lease, renovate, and buy tools. His plan was to secure the shop now, earn money while renovating, and get the business license. That would take time. Get the shop ready in 2 months, and he could start business right after exams. If he waited until after exams to do these things, by the time he finished, it would be almost time for university. So Ethan planned to prepare for a rainy day, arrange reasonably, and make a big profit during the 2 months of summer vacation. Renting a shop? Here? Rent here isn't cheap. Probably at least $400 or $500 a month. Tank exclaimed. Tank, open your eyes a bit. High rent has its reasons. To earn big money, you have to be willing to spend small money. Look, over there is the Metro Mall. Next to it are office buildings. South is the high-end residential district. Most families in the city with better conditions come here to shop. Think about it. Many of them must have computers. Just the office computers alone are a huge market. For us, that's a big cake. Ethan laughed. Tank listened, dazed. He was a naive teenager, knowing nothing about doing business. But after hearing Ethan, he suddenly felt enlightened. Hey, what Ethan says makes sense. Really, it should be better here than at Fatty Sal's. Tank praised. Ethan smiled. This guy's blockhead finally opened up. He looked at the bustling commercial circle before him, thinking to himself, the future starts here. Ethan and Tank bought 2 Rocket Pops from the roadside, eating while they shopped for storefronts. The Metro Mall commercial circle was quite large. There were shops for rent, but they were all street-front units with hefty prices. Any random 500-square-foot shop had a monthly rent of around $1,000. Even worse locations were over $600 a month. No choice. In the golden downtown district, this was the standard price. This price scared Tank out of his wits. He thought rent would be $100 or so, not hundreds or thousands. My God, this price is too expensive beyond my imagination. I thought it'd be 100. Tank said, shocked. 100 exists, just not on the main street. We don't need to rent a storefront on the main street, Ethan said, licking his popsicle. Then where do we rent? In the alleys. For Ethan's computer repair shop, there was no need for a streetfront location. The cost-performance ratio was too low. In Ethan's vision, the repair shop just needed to be within the commercial circle. Public transport to downtown was convenient, and there were office buildings and high-end apartments nearby. These users were precise. Their demand for computer repair was rigid. They didn't just wander by and decide to fix a computer. When a computer broke, their first thought was whether there was a repair shop nearby and how to solve the problem quickly and conveniently. So Ethan led Tank drilling into the alleys off the main street. The alleys lacked a commercial vibe and had little foot traffic. Most were ground floor spaces of residents' own houses. The further toward the end of the strip, the lower the price. Alley shops at the start of the strip were around $500 a month. By the middle and end sections, prices dropped to around $250. This price range was acceptable to Ethan. The two wandered back and forth through the middle and end sections 3 times, recording all suitable shops. After repeated comparison and consideration, Ethan finally selected a shop about 100 meters into the 8th Street alley. This shop was a newly vacated ground floor space in a self-built house. No transfer fee. Rent was $230 a month. Tank looked left and right. In the bustling commercial circle, not a single pedestrian was here. It was desolate. Ethan, are we really choosing the shop? It's so quiet. Will anyone come? Tank asked worriedly. Ethan grinned. Quiet is good. Rent can be cheaper. Don't worry. Once the shop is set up, as long as we advertise well, customers will come. And look, at the entrance of the alley, on the main street, there's a high-end coffee shop. People going in and out of there definitely have higher incomes. Owning a computer is normal for them. If we can find a way to advertise there, the results will surely be good. Tank looked in the direction he pointed. Indeed, at the alley entrance, there was a nicely decorated coffee shop. Ethan even considered the coffee shop. Ethan's thinking really isn't something I can compare to. Tank admired him secretly. 8th Street alley, no. 100. There's a contact number. Ethan walked into the empty shop to inspect. This was his 3rd time looking. The shop wasn't big, about 500 square feet. Empty inside, nothing there for white walls. On a chair at the door was the landlord's phone number and rent info. Cell phones weren't particularly common among regular people yet. The best-selling, cheapest Nokia 3310 sold $4.150. Right now, the working class generally made $300 or $400 a month. They might not save $1,000 a year. A phone was a luxury, especially since after 2000, state enterprises faced major reform. Factories closed or merged. The nation suddenly had over 30 million laid-off workers. It was a stormy time. Average families dared not spend recklessly. Ethan's family didn't even have a landline. He borrowed the Miller's phone when needed. Grace's family only had a Nokia 3310 because George Miller was a deputy factory manager and needed it for business. Those who could afford phones and monthly fees now were mostly well off. Regular families either had landlines or used the payphones everywhere on the street. Ethan wanted a phone and computer too, but money wasn't loose right now. Let's go, Tank. To the payphone to call the landlord. Ethan waved. Arriving at a street-side phone booth, 5 or 6 people were queuing. Ethan waited in line, taking out a $30 phone card, the best-selling item right now. After waiting half an hour, it was Ethan's turn. Entering the booth, Ethan inserted the card. It showed a balance of $12. He took out his notebook and dialed the landlord's number. After a few rings, an impatient woman's voice answered. Hello, who is it? Ethan could hear the clattering of mahjong tiles in the background. Are you the landlord of the shop at 100 8th Street alley? I want to rent the shop. Want to take a look? Ethan said directly. Oh, renting? Great, wait for me. The voice on the other end sounded slightly excited. They agreed to meet at the shop. Hanging up, Ethan and Tank waited at the shop door. A while later, a slightly plump middle-aged woman in a floral dress walked over from the end of the alley. You two want to rent? The woman eyed Ethan and Tank up and down with narrow eyes, uncertain. Ethan looked too young, like a high schooler, not an adult doing business. Yes, ma'am. Ethan's address of ma'am added a smile to her eyes. This young man speaks well. She unlocked the door and pushed it open. Come in and look. It's empty, no transfer fee. And rent is only $230. Very cheap. Ethan smiled slightly. Looks okay. Utilities all working. The woman replied. All working. There's even a kitchen inside. You can cook. By the way, what business do you two young guys want to do? Advance warning. No shady business allowed in my shop. Ethan smiled. We want to open a computer repair shop. We study this, just want to earn some skill money. Computer repair? Can't tell you guys are so young, but have this skill. The woman was surprised. Self-taught. Ethan answered while carefully checking the utilities. A lap around revealed no major issues, just plain decoration and 0 included items. Tank, on the other hand, looked excited, seemingly very satisfied. Ethan tugged his sleeve, signaling him to tone it down. Tank quickly imitated Ethan, stiffening his face. How about it, young man? My shop is nice, right? Let me tell you, $230 a month for a shop like mine is a steal. Miss this village, you won't find this shop. Ethan shook his head, pretending to be dissatisfied. Looks okay, but no furniture inside, not even a table or chair. And the renovation is rough. Most importantly, this alley is too remote, too quiet. It's the weekend, and there's not a soul. Location isn't great. Ma'am, $230 is honestly a bit steep. We'll consider it. Sorry to make you run over. Saying this, Ethan turned to leave. The woman looked anxious. This shop had been listed for 3 months without renting out because the alley was dead. Finally, someone interested. How could she let them slip away? Hey, young man, the price is really low. You sure you won't rent? Ethan turned back, thinking for a moment. It's too remote. $230 doesn't feel worth it. We'll look around more. Tank, let's go. Okay, Ethan. Tank responded, following him out. The woman got more anxious, chasing after them. Young man, don't rush off. What do you think is appropriate? We can talk. Just outside the door, Ethan's lips curled into a smile. He turned back. I think $150 a month is about right. The woman froze. 150? This is 500 square feet. That's too low. No way. Young man, how do you bargain like that? Too ruthless. Ethan shook his head. I saw shops in 9th and 12th Alley, 600 square feet, only 200. And they include tables and fans. 150 isn't low. Huh? They lowered rent. The woman paused. She based her rent on nearby prices. Hearing they were only $200 now shocked her. Ethan revealed an imperceptible smile. Half true, half false. Just bluffing her. Yeah, if you're not willing, ma'am, we'll go check other shops. Ethan turned to leave. The woman quickly grabbed him. Hey, don't rush. How about $170? Let's be quick. $170. Ethan pondered. No. $160. Any more, and it's not worth it. The woman gritted her teeth. Fine. $160 it is. Deal. Tank watched Ethan haggling from the side, dumbfounded. Ethan is amazing. Quite a hand at bargaining. Nearby alley shops were mostly over $200. $160 for a 500 square foot shop in the core commercial district? Unbeatable value. A huge profit. Ethan finally smiled. All right, too lazy to run around anymore. I'll rent it and try. How long will you rent? The woman asked. Ethan held up 4 fingers. 4 months. Chapter 28. 4 months? That's too short, isn't it? The middle-aged woman frowned. Ethan pretended to sigh. Business is hard to do these days. If I can keep it running, I'll renew for a year. If I can't make it in 4 months, I'll have to close up shop. Mrs. Gable thought about it and agreed. The economy wasn't great, layoffs everywhere, business was getting harder. Having someone rent it was good enough. For months it is. All right, let's go print the contract and sign. Mrs. Gable said. The 3 went through the process, found a print shop, and printed a standard rental contract. After reading it, Ethan added a few clauses. No arbitrary rent increases, 10 times compensation for landlord breach of contract, etc. Mrs. Gable glanced at Ethan's adjustments and had no objections. Both parties signed and paid on the spot. Rent was 1 month deposit for months up front. Total 5 months rent, $800. Ethan's $1,000, barely warm in his pocket, was down by $800. The rest was pocket money. Mrs. Gable, happy cooperation. If my business takes off, I'll definitely renew. Ethan smiled. The woman's surname was Gable, first name Glenda. Chatting revealed she was a local, had a son studying in New York, and her husband was a line supervisor at an electronics plant. She loved playing mahjong and gambling a bit, but lost more than she won. That's why she converted the ground floor to rent out for household income. Ethan understood why she was so eager to rent it out. Her family wasn't rich either. But, poor and still gambling? That's on her. All right. Keys are yours. I gotta get back to my game. I'm off. Mrs. Gable took her contract, waved, and left, eager to hit the mahjong table. Seeing Mrs. Gable disappear, Tank finally gave Ethan a thumbs up excitedly. Ethan, you're a beast. Rented it for $160. You bargained better than my mom. Too awesome. Ethan patted his shoulder. Rent is an operating cost. To control costs, you have to bargain. Come on, let's go change the lock, then grab lunch. Ethan found a locksmith in a nearby alley, spent $30 on a new lock, and changed it. Better safe than sorry. Business done, Ethan took Tank to eat hot dogs. In an alley at the end of the strip, there was a stand. Full and satisfied, Ethan planned to wander the area, check the commercial landscape, and look for opportunities. When they reached a secluded alley at the end of the street, they saw a young man rummaging through a dumpster. The young man wore a dirty blue t-shirt and jeans. He was tall, about 5 feet 9 inches tall for a southerner, but he was thin. From the side, his face looked pale, cheekbones high, looking malnourished. Hearing footsteps, the youth turned his head warily to look at Ethan and Tank. Seeing no threat, he turned back to dig in the trash. Ethan noticed his almond eyes were dull, as if he had lost the light of life. Numb, indifferent, sighs so pitiful. Tank shook his head and whispered. In this not-so-rich era, with so many beggars and drifters, he had become an orphan of the city. Ethan sighed too. Looking at his age, maybe 18 or 19, he should be a student in a classroom. Who knew he'd fall to this, digging for food in a dumpster? The youth dug for a while, finally finding a half-eaten piece of bread. A look of relief appeared on his face. Finding food, he lowered his head and turned to leave. But just a few steps later, suddenly 2 youths with dyed yellow hair and iron chains around their necks blocked him. It's you again, brat. A yellow-haired youth in a skull shirt glared viciously at the blue t-shirt youth, raising his leg to kick him to the ground. Didn't I warn you not to show up in this area? I see you once. I beat you once. The skull shirt Buzz shouted curses while beating the fallen youth. The other youth with the chain joined in, punching and kicking. The blue t-shirt youth could only cover his head, curling up on the ground, enduring their beating. It looked miserable. Ethan knew intervening would invite trouble. If it were the old him, he might have pretended not to see, avoiding getting involved. He would have coldly thought, I don't know this guy. Why help him? But now I'm a man reborn. Leave regrets? Let myself become obsessed with money, turning into a heartless stone. No, impossible. Scared of what? Just do it. Stop. Ethan shouted, full of righteousness. Tank rolled up his sleeves, standing in front of him without hesitation. No matter what, if a fight starts, protect Ethan. The 2 punks heard the voice. Buzz turned and glared viciously at Ethan. F your mother, you like meddling? Looking for trouble. Believe it or not, I'll beat you too. Ethan showed no fear, snorting coldly. Beating people in broad daylight. Where do you think this is? This is Chicago. This is America. There are laws here. The 2 punks laughed loudly. Ha, talking about laws? Let me tell you, I am the law in this area. Buzz said arrogantly. The chain youth pulled a switchblade from his pocket, pointing at Ethan with a sneer. Buzz, isn't this perfect? 2 little lambs delivered to our door. Buzz's eyes flashed with cruelty. Yeah, since these 2 love meddling, let's make them understand the consequences. The 2 punks walked toward Ethan. Kid, take out everything valuable. Hand over your money. Buzz glared at Ethan. The chain youth gestured with the switchblade. The gleaming blade looked sharp. A stab in the gut would be fatal or serious injury. Ethan's mind raced. Suddenly, he saw a figure rise behind them, approaching the chain youth silently. Good Lord, the guy who just got beaten so badly can still stand. And he's holding a brick. Ethan understood. He's going to ambush the chain guy. Money. I have some, but you probably don't have the skill to take it. Ethan spoke to attract their attention. You hold a death wish? Believe I won't shank you. The chain youth threatened viciously. Smack. As soon as his voice fell, he felt a sudden, sharp pain in the back of his head. The blue t-shirt youth's brick strike was heavy and powerful, directly knocking the chain youth to the ground. Blood flowed from the back of his head. He was dizzy and immobilized. Buzz next to him jumped, completely confused about what happened. In that instant, Ethan shouted, Tank, get him! Tank was already prepared. He clenched his fist and smashed it into Buzz's face. This punch wasn't weak. It made Buzz stumble. Ethan followed up with a kick. Using all his strength, he kicked Buzz right in the crotch. Ow! Tank paused, seemingly hearing the sound of eggs breaking. Ethan strikes hard and accurate. Awesome. Buzz clutched his crotch, curled on the ground, his face turning beet red like a cooked shrimp. Fing piece of SHD, daring to rob? Beat you until your mother doesn't recognize you. Ethan cursed, stomping on his head repeatedly. Every kick landed on Buzz's face. In moments, Buzz's face was a bloody mess. Tank didn't idle either, kicking wildly. Tank was a bit simple, but he wasn't cowardly in a fight. He was taller and stronger than Ethan. His kicks made Buzz howl in misery. SHLNK. Suddenly, The sound of a knife stabbing into flesh came from behind. Ethan and Tank startled, thinking the blue t-shirt guy got stabbed. They turned quickly. They saw the blue t-shirt youth, eyes bloodshot, full of killing intent, stabbing the switchblade into the chain youth's thigh. SHLNK, another stab. Blood gushed. The chain youth screamed, eyes full of terror. No, no, don't. In his eyes, this blue t-shirt youth had turned into a demon. The youth's intense killing intent was unstoppable. His red eyes clearly showed a loss of reason. Crazy and fearless. He could feel the youth's intent. This kid might actually kill him. Facing death, he finally panicked completely, even wetting his pants on the spot, tears and snot flowing. No, don't kill me. But the blue t-shirt youth seemed deaf to words, aiming for his other thigh. The palm-length blade sank into his thigh instantly. Pulling it out brought a fountain of blood. Ethan and Tank watched, dumbfounded. He's crazy. This kid is going for the kill. Street murder. The blue t-shirt youth muttered to himself. You bully me, then I'll kill you all. Chain youth. Chapter 29. The blue t-shirt youth had completely lost his reason, swept away by rage. He raised the dagger, about to bring it down, when suddenly a hand grabbed his wrist. Calm down. You kill him, you go to prison. If you have family, think of them. Ethan's voice was low. The youth turned to look at the hand holding him, then followed the arm to look back at Ethan. He froze. Moments later, the madness in his eyes gradually faded, reason slightly returning. You're still young. You have a future. No need to ruin your life for a scumbag. Seeing him calm down, Ethan persuaded gently. Slaughtering this punk might feel good now, but he'd be a murderer, eventually caught and jailed, maybe even executed. Trading his life for a punk's wasn't worth it. Understand. The youth calmed down, speaking quietly. Ethan let out a breath and released his wrist. Suddenly, the youth stabbed the chain guy in the thigh again. Arg! The chain youth howled. His legs now had 4 stab wounds, blood flowing non-stop, dyeing the ground red. Ethan paused, thinking this kid is ruthless. The youth pulled out the switchblade, stood up, and walked to the curled-up Buzz. No, no, don't. I was wrong. Don't stab me. Seeing his partner's state, Buzz's face went pale with terror, begging for mercy. But the youth was expressionless. He stabbed Buzz in the leg 4 times in succession. Buzz howled, his face twisted in pain and horror. I'm taking this knife. If you dare bully me again, I will definitely kill you. Definitely. The youth's voice was extremely calm, without ripples, but the killing intent chilled the spine. Buzz was terrified, crying and snotting. No, it won't happen. I'll never dare again. Big brother. I was wrong. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Ethan twitched his mouth, saying to Tank, Tank, remember, don't underestimate any honest person. When they go crazy, they're more ruthless than anyone. Tank watched, stunned, nodding repeatedly. Got it. What are you doing? Someone shouted from a window above. Ethan yanked the youth up from the ground, whispering, run. The youth bolted. Ethan and Tank followed. The 3 ran wildly out of the downtown commercial circle to the underpass of the Wells Street Bridge nearby. Reaching the underpass, the youth finally stopped. Tank sat on the ground, gasping for air. Ethan, will the cops be after us? Ethan panted, catching his breath, and smiled. No, those 2 are career robbers. They won't turn themselves in by calling the cops. Phew, that's good. Tank laughed, simply relieved. Brother, you're back. Suddenly, a crisp little girl's voice sounded from a dark corner of the underpass. Ethan and Tank looked over. A ragged, disheveled little girl walked timidly out of the darkness. She looked about 7 or 8, short, similarly thin and malnourished. But her eyes were big and bright, showing innocence and purity. Seeing Ethan and Tank, the girl hid behind the youth in fear. Hannah, don't be scared. They are brother's friends. Hungry? Look, I brought bread. Eat it. The youth took out the half-eaten bread from his pocket, handing it to the girl. A rare smile appeared on his face, full of doting love. The girl took the bread, asking with big eyes, Brother, did you eat? I ate. Look, I ate half. The rest is for you. Brother, why are you hurt again? Did someone bully you? No, I fell in the road. No one bullied me. Listening to the siblings, Tank's nose stung, eyes moistening. These 2 were too pitiful. Ethan patted his shoulder, sighing, Tank, there are people in this world with harder lives than ours. Tank smiled bitterly. Compared to them, what is our little hardship? Ethan got up, walked over to the youth, and asked, Buddy, what's your name? Henry Payne. I am Ethan Fort. He's my brother, Wayne Tank Turner. Henry turned and bowed 90 degrees to Ethan and Tank solemnly. Just now. Thank you. He looked up at Ethan, eyes full of gratitude. Thank you. His words were simple, but Ethan felt the full weight of his sincerity. This was a man of few words, but immense sincerity. Seeing injustice, one should act. I couldn't watch you be treated like that and do nothing. Ethan wanted to say more, but seeing the little girl watching him with big eyes, listening, he held back. Let's talk over there. Henry knew his sister was there. He didn't want her to know about the bullying and worry. Ethan nodded and smiled. Ethan sent Tank to buy some candy and food. Henry and Ethan sat by a bridge pier nearby. Henry wasn't talkative. He told his story simply and directly. He was 18. His sister Hannah Payne was 10. The siblings lived at the bottom. Parents were originally workers at the paper mill. With 2 salaries, life was sustainable. But then the mill closed due to pollution regulations. Hundreds of employees were laid off. Layoffs dropped like a bomb. After being laid off, the siblings dropped out of school. Their father got addicted to gambling, owing a mountain of debt. Later, the mother couldn't take it and ran away, abandoning them. 3 years ago, debt collectors drove their father to jump off a building. Since then, only the 2 siblings remained, relying on each other. For 3 years, they lived under the bridge. Henry tried to find odd jobs, but the economy was bad. Layoffs were everywhere. A job had dozens fighting for it. He got very little work. Income was pitiful and unstable. They lived meal to meal. The punk saw he was easy to bully, using him as a punching bag. So this time, unable to endure, he had the impulse to kill. Hearing Henry's story, Ethan fell silent. He could see that although Henry spoke calmly, behind those words lay immense suffering. Your name? Who named you? Good meaning. Pain, no gain. Ethan could only offer a clumsy comfort. My mom. Henry smiled, self-deprecatingly. Ironic. What are your plans? Ethan asked. No plans. His face showed confusion. Then he added, live one day at a time. Ethan looked at him and smiled. Then work for me. I'll pay you wages. Me? Henry froze, looking at Ethan in disbelief. Really? His eyes showed irrepressible excitement. Finding a job to feed himself and his sister now would be a heavenly joy. Ethan nodded seriously. Really? And room included. I just rented a shop today. Needs renovation. Need help renovating. You and your sister can live inside. The shop has a kitchen. You can cook. Hearing this, Henry's body trembled. Tears welled up in his eyes. He opened his mouth, not knowing what to say. He stood up and knelt before Ethan, kowtowing heavily. What are you doing? Get up. Ethan quickly grabbed his arms to lift him. Henry's eyes glistened. He choked out, thank you. He didn't know fancy words of gratitude. Only thank you. Ethan's job offer was like a light beaming into his dark world. With a job, there's money. With money, there's food. They can live. Living means hope. So Ethan gave him the hope to restart life. I said you're young. You have a future. I believe your future will definitely be beautiful. Ethan smiled. Hearing this, Henry's dull eyes gained a hint of hope. Thank you. Perhaps one day in the future, he would understand that meeting Ethan this day changed his entire life. Brother. Don't bully my brother. Hannah ran over, hugging Henry, glaring at Ethan warily. Seeing her brother kneeling, she thought Ethan was bullying him. But she was scared of Ethan, pouting, wanting to cry but daring not to. Ethan laughed. Deep bond between siblings. Henry stood up, rubbing her head. Hannah, brother isn't being bullied. From now on, he's brother's boss. Call him Ethan. Hannah saw her brother looking relaxed and Ethan looking kind. She dropped her guard and obediently called. Ethan, boss. Hannah is a good girl. I'll give you candy later. Ethan smiled, wanted to pat her head but holding back. Hannah was still wary and sensitive. Better not approach too easily. Tank returned, carrying a big bag of food, candy, and fruit. Here, take it. Ethan told me to buy this. Tank scratched his head, smiling simply. Hannah looked at the bag of food, almost drooling, biting her finger like a cute, greedy cat. Ethan took out a bag of gummies, handing it to Hannah. Little Hannah, take it. Candy for you. Hannah wanted to reach out, but looked at Henry for permission. Henry was silent, not taking it immediately. He felt he hadn't done anything yet. He didn't deserve these things. Ethan saw his thought and smiled. Consider it a meeting gift. Listen to me, take it. Henry thanked him again, gratefully before reaching out to take the bag. Only then did Hannah dare to take the candy from Ethan, very happy. Thank you, Ethan. Ethan took out his wallet, pulled out a $50 bill, and handed it to Henry. Your wage is $800 a month. This is an advance of $50. Meet me tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. at 100 8th Street Alley. This I can't take. Henry refused firmly. Just take it. Ethan pushed the money to him, but he remained unmoved, repeating firmly, I can't take it. He hadn't worked yet. He couldn't take money first. This was his principle. Seeing his resolute attitude, Ethan laughed and shook his head. Fine. Remember to find me at the shop tomorrow. Henry finally smiled. Okay. Chapter 30. It's getting late. I have things to do. We're heading back. See you tomorrow. Ethan bid farewell to Henry. Take care, boss. Henry bowed. Ethan smiled. Don't call me boss. Like Tank, just call me Ethan. Yes, Ethan. Henry nodded heavily. We're off. See you tomorrow. Little Hannah, bye. Ethan waved to Hannah. Bye, Ethan, little Hannah shouted, mouth full of gummies. Henry held his sister's hand, watching Ethan and Tank leave. Brother, Ethan is a good person, Hannah said seriously. Yes, he's our benefactor. Henry's eyes were full of gratitude toward Ethan. Ethan, I will remember today's kindness forever. I will repay you with everything I have. He made a secret vow in his heart. Ethan and Tank went back to the shop for the bike, then headed to Sal's computer shop. As soon as Ethan parked at the door, sharp-eyed Sal got up to welcome him. Haha, young Ethan is here. Perfect timing. It's Saturday, for customers brought machines to fix. Just waiting for you. You don't have a phone. I couldn't even call you. Sal's fat face bloomed like a flower, eyes narrowed into slits. So many today. Did you advertise? Ethan asked curiously. With this shop's traffic, a dozen repairs a month was standard. Nothing much. I just sent a pager message to every past customer, saying we launched a repair service. Cheaper and more convenient. Of course, the old customers came. Sal smiled smugly. Sal, you know how to do business. Gotta learn from you. Ethan complimented him. Sal beamed. Hey, if you want to learn, we can partner up. You manage repairs, train apprentices. We swallow the repair business for this whole area. Earning $100,000 would be easy. Ethan knew he was calculating. But partnering with Sal? No way. This guy was a pure merchant. What is a merchant? Someone with only profit in their eyes. Friendship based on profit ends when profit ends or turns to enmity over profit. Ethan maintained a mutual use attitude with Sal. Talk about that later. I'll go fix computers. Ethan brushed it off and ducked into the workspace. Sal's eyes flashed with dissatisfaction, but he kept smiling on the surface. 4 towers, all black screens. 2 memory issues, 2 motherboard power capacitor issues. The memory was SDRAM PC 164 MB. A new stick cost over $130. Troubleshooting old memory was a hassle. Sal, tell the customers for these 2 machines, it's a memory issue. Ask them to wait, might be late. Around 6 p.m. pickup, Ethan told Sal. What? Done today? I thought it'd take 2 or 3 days. The Electronic City asks $200 and takes 5 days. You sure today? Sal was shocked. Ethan joked, Sal doubting my skill? Or my character? No, absolutely not. I'll tell them. Sal explained quickly. Ethan buried his head in repairs. Time flew to 6 p.m. The 4 customers arrived one after another. Ethan finished, tested, confirmed normal operation, then delivered. Carrying a tower out, he saw an acquaintance among the customers. Haha, buddy, computer fixed? Jason York walked over smiling. Aha, Jason. What brings you here? Ethan asked, surprised. Nothing. A friend's computer broke. I recommended he come find you. You fix fast, and well, save time. We gotta hit the club later. Jason laughed. Getting customer validation put Ethan in a good mood. Business should be like this. One has a need, one solves it. Everyone happy. Most importantly, getting recognition for your skill. That brings new customers. Is that so? Thanks for the business. Computer works fine, right? Ethan asked. No problems, works great. Like new. Red alert doesn't even lag. Good skills. Jason gave a thumbs up. Ethan grinned. Good to hear. Actually, he just cleared the memory junk. In this era where computers weren't fully ubiquitous, most people didn't know how to maintain them. No third-party software helped. So computers getting slow was a common ailment. Computers are ready. I'll boot them up for you. Ethan said to the 4 customers. Demonstrating one by one, confirming no issues, they all smiled, praising Ethan's skill. Finally, they paid up cheerfully. For people, $150 each. Ethan made $600 in half a day. After customers left, Sal walked to Ethan excitedly, rubbing his hands. Young Ethan, your skills are amazing. Better than the guys downtown. There aren't many repair shops in Chicago. Most have to ship back to the factory. If we partner and go big, we'll make a fortune. Ethan smiled. Later, Sal settled the bill. Sal's cut was $120. Ethan gave him $120 exactly. Sal saw Ethan's lack of interest and rubbed his nose, looking disappointed. But receiving money made him happy. Sitting and earning over $100 felt great. He looked at Ethan more and more like a golden goose. If he could rope him in, he'd make big money. Why was this kid unwilling? Ethan collected the money. Adding his remaining cash, he had around $1,000. Made good money today. Awesome. This is life with a future. This money wasn't small, but not huge. Far from enough to fly solo. Renovation, office supplies, stocking parts, all needed money. But with 60 days to the exam, 2 months, he had to earn more here at Sal's. All right, Sal, work's done. Late, gotta go home for dinner. I'll be back tomorrow. Ethan bid farewell. Hey, young Ethan, let me treat you to dinner? We'll go to the steakhouse, my treat. Sal invited warmly. No thanks, another day. Have things to do. Ethan waved and refused. Saying so, Ethan and Tank prepared to leave. Just then, a middle-aged man in a yellowing white shirt carrying a satchel walked in. Almost bumped into Ethan. Oh hot, saw thee. Excuse me. The man apologized quickly. It's okay. Ethan smiled. The man nodded, entered, and shouted, Sal, boss. Have you considered? Do you want this batch of goods? Mister. Hayes, I thought about it. I sell new computers. Your junk parts are useless to me. Go ask somewhere else. Sal waved impatiently. The man looked disappointed. Okay. I'll ask around. Busy, huh? Won't disturb you. The man sighed and turned to leave. But hearing old computer parts, Ethan's heart moved. He followed. Walking a few dozen meters out, Ethan called him. Mister. Hayes, wait. Mister. Hayes heard someone call and turned. Seeing the young man he almost bumped into, he looked confused. Looking for trouble. Young man, something wrong? Mister. Hayes eyed Ethan warily. Ethan smiled warmly. Just heard you in the shop mention a batch of old computer parts. Mister. Hayes paused. Asking about parts? Interested? Adhering to the principle of missing no opportunity, he quickly put on an enthusiastic smile. He was a sales manager for an electronics recycling company. Really just a salesman. They recycled old appliances and electronics. Last month, they bought a batch of old towers replaced by an internet cafe from a scrapyard. 25 units. But the good parts were stripped by the seller. The rest was sold as scrap by weight. His boss saw the batch and got interested, thinking they could salvage parts to build 2 or 3 working computers. But the parts were ancient and damaged. Couldn't even build one. Repairing them would cost a fortune, more than the sale price. The batch was a total loss in their hands. Now the boss sent salesmen running around to see if any repair shops would buy the parts, dumping the hot potato. But after running for half a month, covering most of Chicago, no boss wanted them. Ethan listened, heart moving, but kept a plain face. Mister. Hayes, I'm a senior at Oak Creek High. I'm interested in computer parts. Want to get some junk to study. Hearing Ethan was just a student, disappointment showed on Mr. Hayes' face. Thought it was a big buyer. Just a student. Sigh, wasted breath. Another fruitless day. Is that so? If you want to buy, try the scrapyard. Might find a few. Mr. Hayes suggested kindly, implying buying from him wasn't worth it. Scrapyard stock is low. I want a batch to study deeply. Enrich my knowledge. Ethan smiled. You want to buy? Do you have money? 25 junk. Ahem, old units. Monitors included. Cost $500. Mr. Hayes asked. Tank spoke first. What? $500? That expensive? You bought by the pound. Now selling as parts. Too dishonest. Ethan, forget it. They're scamming. Tank motioned to pull Ethan away. Ethan gave him an approving look. Tank, nice job. Learning to bargain already. Yeah, Mr. Hayes. Not much sincerity there. If that's the case, we can't talk. Ethan shook his head, turning to leave. Mr. Hayes quickly grabbed them. Finally someone interested. Can't miss the chance. He shouted, Young man, don't rush. Price is negotiable. Negotiable. Ethan pretended to be uninterested, waving his hand. All right. Maybe look at the goods in a few days. If the price is still ridiculous, prepare to keep them. Or sell as scrap metal. Mr. Hayes held Ethan's hand, smiling apologetically. No. I'll discuss with the boss. Definitely give you a satisfactory price. When you want to see the goods? I have time now. Ethan looked at the sky. Sunset. Late now. We have to go back. A few days later. Hey, young man, when is a few days? Leave a number. Mr. Hayes said urgently. Next Saturday. Number is 555-0199. Ethan gave Grace's number, then left with Tank. Tank rode the bike, asking confusedly, Ethan, you really want those junk parts? Ethan grinned. Electronic trash to others, treasure to me. Whether we make a big profit depends on the quality of that batch. Then why not look tomorrow? Tank, you dummy. If they see we really want to buy, they'll hike the price. We have to hang them out to dry, hide our intent, to press the price to the floor. Oh, so that's it. Ethan, you're awesome. I get it.